I had to get one more in.
See, you had to get
this
in.
campaign's over. I had to get one more in.
Well, he did go straight home. Chris Christie did. And Ben Carson left New Hampshire early as well, just to head to South Carolina to campaign. However, Chris Christie, he's probably going to announce today that he's dropping out.
Well,
that at least is according to CNN.
And just to be clear, the Cruz campaign did not retweet any stories about Ben Carson going home.
They stayed away from it. They left Ben Carson
alone. Not going to make that
and
mistake again.
they left Chris Christie alone. But Ted Cruz coming in third place. How are you feeling? Are you licking your wounds this morning? Do you think it's okay?
Licking wounds. This is a strong third place finish for Ted Cruz. I mean, this should get as much, if not more, attention than Rubio's third place finish in Iowa. It's much more challenging for Cruz. And what did we hear? Well, this is where Ted Cruz, runs into a buzzsaw because New Hampshire is libertarian, and New Hampshire, libertarian, Trump and Sanders, they're libertarians. Wow. Live free or die to give me or die. But they're the least church-going folk in the country. Mm-hmm. And so this is going to be a problem for Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz finishes third. Jeb Bush, fourth.
But real close to a third-place finish.
Within
about 1,000 votes.
Ted Cruz spent $800,000 on television advertising in New Hampshire.
Oh, gosh. How much did Jeb spend?
$35 million.
Oh, just in New Hampshire alone? So how many? Oh, gosh, she must have 800. How many? $500 a vote?
Yeah.
Because I'm really good with the math.
It's like Blair Hull's cost per vote. $800,000 versus $35 million. So tell me again how this is a strong fourth-place finish with a race being reset as Jeb tried to convince the electorate yesterday?
Last Monday night, when the Iowa caucuses were complete, they said that the race was now a three-person race between two freshman senators and a reality TV star. And while the reality TV star is still doing well, it looks like you all have reset the race. And for that, I am really grateful.
Yeah, you all have reset the race. That apparently includes Jeb.
Well, what's
see.
Jeb Bush's ground game in South Carolina? Because Kasich absolutely has not. I mean, he's scrambling to set up town halls right now. I think he has 3 scheduled for today because that's how he won New Hampshire with, grassroots politicking, going door to door, and having 100-plus town hall meetings.
Well, so this is where the race starts to become more challenging because you can spend a lot of time in the run-up to the first election, the Iowa caucus, going to all 99 counties in Iowa.
Yes.
And having the town halls, doing the retail politicking, the handshaking. You can do that in New Hampshire, too, particularly if you essentially seed Iowa, as Kasich did, and to some extent Bush did.
And Chris Christie.
And set up a lot of town halls there. I mean, Christie, Kasich, and Bush had the most visits to New Hampshire, I think. So you can do that in small electorate states, particularly when you have essentially a campaign that's 8 months leading into Iowa, and then even leading into New Hampshire. Now you get South Carolina, and then 10 days later, you got the SEC primaries, which frankly also include some very northern non-SEC states. But the bottom line is then you have groups of states, and it goes super fast.
Yeah.
And so you can't do what Kasich did in New Hampshire, which is why you have to have a bit of a national profile, become a national candidate at some point through media and the money that provides media. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast.
It's so strange. I was babysitting some kids yesterday, and of course we were watching the returns because that's what we do. Turn off the Xbox, kiddies. We have to watch real news. And you know what one of them said? And he was in 8th grade. He said, "Who's John Kasich?" I don't know. Who is that? I go, well, it's John Kasich. And he's currently the governor of Ohio, and he's running for president. He's like, oh, I mean, he had never even heard of the guy. They all know who Donald Trump is, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Jeb Bush.
Yeah,
I don't know what kind of exposure he's had to the media or to news or to newspapers, but he had never heard of John Kasich.
And how old is he?
He was in 8th grade.
So
why am I babysitting?
13, 14-year-old. So Kasich having apparently as much trouble with young voters as Hillary is.
I know I have some work to do, particularly with young people, but I will repeat again what I have said this week. Even if they are not supporting me now, I support them. Because I know.
That's that line I told you about.
I know I've had a blessed life, but I also know what it's like to stumble and fall. And so many people across America know that feeling.
Sure they do.
And we've learned it's not whether you get knocked down that matters, it's whether you get back up.
That's how you get back up. No, but I mean,
you dust off your pantsuit and you get back up.
She got smoked. I mean, smoked last night. And if you look at the, the voting, 18 to 29-year-olds, Sanders received 83%. She received 16%. And O'Malley, who's not even in the race, received 1%. I mean, it's embarrassing. I don't know how she can press the reset button heading into South Carolina, but it is more minority-based voters, South Carolina, and then moving on to Nevada. I can't see Latinos voting for Bernie Sanders.
Why not? I mean, if Bernie can make incursions into the African-American community, why couldn't he also build momentum into the Latino community? It seems to me this is a somewhat, even on the Democrat side, as much as Hillary would like it to be, it's less about gender and race identity and more about kind of what's going on in between your ears, and also just your disposition towards the power structure in this country, towards opportunity in this country. Now, the Democrats, by necessity, have to play this class envy blame game, which both Hillary and Bernie are doing. But it's going to be very interesting to see if Bernie can build on that runaway victory yesterday into South Carolina. You may have some people that are willing to give him a look because Hillary's campaign is really in disarray. There's a bit of free fall going on there. And we've seen this happen before with Hillary.
I know I have some work to do, particularly with young people. Excuse me, just 1 second here.
Oh my God, Mom's choking!
You do talk a lot in this campaign. A lot, so.
Well, Hillary Clinton thought she had the nomination wrapped up now. She had it wrapped up. Till half the voters in Iowa rebelled and kicked her butt to the curb now. Now she's feeling the burn. This just in New Hampshire, she just lost to that socialist old man now. Now she's feeling and she'll have fun till Bernie takes the nomination away. Bernie takes the nomination. And we'll have fun till Bernie takes the nomination away. Bernie takes the nomination away. Woo!
Excuse me, just 1 second here.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Thank you, David Stripling, for that beautiful thing.
He could hit the high note. He's got range, that guy.
Your phone calls coming up. What did you think of last night's New Hampshire primary, the winners, the losers, who has a future and who should just simply drop out? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. Here are the numbers in the weather department. It's going to be cold, bitterly cold today. We'll have a little bit of sunshine, a high only of 18. Then tonight, a low in the single digits. And tomorrow, not much better, folks. Mostly sunny, a high of 21 degrees. Any good news on the roadways? Who's the winner and loser? Jim Telemonte.
Well, Amy, right now there are actually quite a few winners. No delays to report on the Eden, Kennedy, the Eisenhower, the Stevenson. The Ryan's getting a little heavy approaching downtown. Outbound, the express lanes are closed from Garfield to the Skyway. It's scheduled till 6. Bishop Ford, do have delays. 159th Sibley, they're spit out in the left lane. 18 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. Outbound fine at 15. The tollways are good. Palos Hills is a fire. In a strip mall, Harlem Avenue is closed between 103rd and 105th. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Valentine's Day is this week, and Pro Flowers is offering an amazing deal. 2 dozen assorted roses plus a free glass vase for just $29.99. Go to proflowers.com, click on the microphone in the right corner, and enter code 1515. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. Imagine her delight when 2 dozen gorgeous assorted roses arrive. And for such an amazing price, it's a win-win. Order now from Pro Flowers. You pick the delivery date, and it's guaranteed. 2 dozen stunning assorted roses, guaranteed to stay fresh and beautiful for at least 7 days for $29.99. And will include a vase for free. Fresh flowers, guaranteed delivery, and add-ons to complete your gift. Pro Flowers has everything you need to win Valentine's Day. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing Valentine's Day deal is to visit proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 1515. That's proflowers.com, secret code 1515.
Now, more than ever, choosing a real estate agent to sell your home is one of the most important decisions you can make.
I'm Ed Kasich Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. I know what it takes to sell your home.
The Wall Street Journal ranked Ed at 88th in the entire country for closed listings.
I know that there's no gimmick to selling your home, just a strategic marketing plan and the confidence needed to make your transaction successful.
Chicago Agent Magazine recognized Ed as the #1 rank in Will County.
You can hire anybody to list your house, but you'll need the local market knowledge that I have to sell it.
When Ed saw market trends change, he was ready and promptly received a RE/MAX of Northern Illinois Trendsetter Award.
Sure, it takes awards, but it also takes a lot of effort. So why would you try to sell your home with a we'll sell your house or buy it from you kind of agent? If an agent has to promise to buy your listing, then something's seriously wrong.
Call Ed Kasich Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals, 630-679-5454. That's 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals, RE/MAX Professionals.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking obviously about the New Hampshire results yesterday. Both sides are particularly interesting. Shake up the race a little bit.
Would you describe it as the night of the anti-establishment candidate or the night of the old white man candidates?
You're talking about the Democrats?
I'm talking about both.
Well, it's tough to say that. Well, I guess Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders are. What's Sanders is 74 and Trump's 69.
Yeah.
So that's up there, but certainly I would say both are running as outsider candidates. And are outsider candidates. The interesting thing is Trump meeting expectations and exceeding expectations. And I you've had a lot of conservatives. We'll talk to one of them, David French, National Review Online, National Review's symposium against Trump, just kind of unwilling to confront the reality on the ground. I was obviously skeptical of Trump in the beginning last summer.
Yeah, you said he'd be out by Labor Day.
That's right.
And can't trust you.
But when the reality on the ground suggests something, you can't just ignore it because you don't like it. And that seems to me what a lot of people are doing. I'm not surprised that Trump supporters are coming out and expanding the number of participants. And I'm not surprised that Trump is holding his own. Trump's numbers, his supporters, are relatively inelastic, which is why the best thing that happened last night was for John Kasich to finish in second place. And Jeb to have a good enough finish to be able to make a case going forward for spending money when Jeb is going to be under increasing pressure from the establishment. First it was, hey, lay off Marco Rubio. He's our golden boy. Now it's going to be, hey, lay off Marco Rubio and John Kasich because we need one of them. And we can't figure out which one right now. We have to see who does better in South Carolina. The more this is all bound up with 5 or 6 candidates, the better it is for Trump because his 25 to 30% ain't moving.
Well, Donald Trump yesterday, his bravado was back. His swagger was back when he delivered his victory speech. And when he walked into the room, Dan, everybody was chanting, build the wall, build the wall.
We are going to make America great again.
He's on message.
Yeah. That's it. And then he left. No, he didn't. He went on to talk about, what he's going to do, what his plans are, but with no real detail because we love that. And he ripped on Bernie Sanders because I don't know if Bernie Sanders is probably still speaking, Dan, but Bernie Sanders went on and on and on about social ideology and how he's going to give you this. He's going to give this person that. He's going to give old ladies this. How he's going to pay for it? No, nobody knows.
First of all, congratulations to Bernie. In all fairness, we have to congratulate him. We may not like it, but I heard parts of Bernie's speech. He wants to give away our country, folks. He wants to give away. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to let it happen. I don't know where it's going with Bernie. We wish him a lot of luck, but we are going to make America great again, but we're going to do it the old-fashioned way.
Mm-hmm. The old-fashioned way.
Yeah, so
what's the old-fashioned way?
By winning.
Earn it. Yes,
winning. Yeah, so actually Mark Cuban has in a blog post.
Oh, what did he do?
He kind of went after both.
He's feisty.
He went after both sides. The title of his blog post, "Are We That Stupid?"
Yeah.
The
Daily News, real quick, front page, dawn of the brain dead, and they paint Trump in the Joker face.
Yeah. That's real smart if you want Trump to be the nominee.
Yeah.
Just keep ridiculing people that support him. Mark Cuban writes, the Democrats argue about who can give away more stuff and is more progressive. The Republicans argue about who is the pure conservative and how hard they will work to undo what is already done. Both sides stick purely to issues that are raised in polls and in debates. None of the candidates have moved into new territory. It's as if there's an island for Democrats and an island for Republicans, and no one ventures off. Yeah, well, Mark, that's because we have fundamental disagreements. So we're supposed to be on the same island. We can have our disagreements on the same island, to continue the metaphor, but why should we adopt, as conservatives, why should we adopt policies that we don't like in the interest of getting along? That's the kind of, he's not venturing into any new territory with his blog post. It sounds like another bipartisan compromise. I agree with being innovative and thinking about new ways to approach old problems. And I think that actually there is some of that going on, particularly on the Republican side. The Democrat side is just the same old redistributionist we've been hearing for most of the last century. And you heard it from Hillary, too. She explained what her credo is. I thought this was a fascinating part of her concession speech.
My family and my faith taught me a simple credo. Do all the good you can in all the ways you can for all the people you can. That's what called me to a life of service, just like millions of teachers and nurses and police officers and firefighters and members of our armed services.
Yeah, so, she's just like a nurse or a teacher living a life of service. That's Hillary Clinton.
Police officer.
Yeah, that is Hillary Clinton. She's in your camp every day, Americans. Here's the problem, and this is where I think Bernie may be able to this is the cudgel Bernie may be able to use to clear more electoral territory for himself as the campaign moves on. It turns out that those $200,000 Goldman Sachs speeches that Hillary Clinton gave, she's going to get the transcripts as long as everybody else releases their $200,000 speeches, the transcripts of their $200,000 speeches to Goldman Sachs. She, remember, went as Cassandra, warning the big banks about their shenanigans.
Right.
And how it was going to
the eventual collapse,
wreck
right?
the economy, yeah. One Goldman Sachs attendee to a Hillary Clinton event told Politico, it was pretty glowing about us, her remarks. It's so far from what she sounds like as a candidate now, it was like a rah-rah speech. She sounded more like a Goldman Sachs managing director. So, yeah, that's kind of what we thought. It turns out that Goldman Sachs likes Hillary. Those big bank rent seekers like Hillary. Hillary likes them because they finance her and her phony foundation and the like. And this is where Bernie Sanders is making his bones right now. And I think he has some opportunity to continue to do so as the campaign moves to South Carolina.
Oh my God, Mom's choking!
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
America has a serious narcotics problem. 90% of the world's narcotics are taken by Americans. They have a place, but when you're dealing with chronic pain that doesn't go away or which frequently returns, there is a better way. You're masking the pain. We help you find and deal with the source of the chronic pain to get real relief. This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in pain. Our team are national leaders and we're educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. Contact us, we will help you. You don't have to live with chronic pain. We treat all pain. We don't mask it with painkillers and narcotics that are not good for you and which can be addictive. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Great deals for you and your family. You don't need to be a movie star to get great glowing skin. Chicago Radio Deals is offering a $100 microdermabrasion session with Dr. Hannah of Hannah Facial Cosmetic Surgery in Hinsdale at half off. That's right. For only $50, you can achieve younger, healthier looking skin. Also from Hannah Facial Cosmetic Surgery, hard to find, Dysport injections. Yes, I pronounced that correctly, I think. Yes, Dysport injections. Now, Dysport is similar to Botox, but has a very natural look. It's perfect for forehead lines, crow's feet, and the crease that works its way between your brows. This treatment normally retails for $550, only $275 at CRD, and you can buy 2 of them. Looking good, want to feel good too? Well, then check out the deals from Primal Ocean Salt Cave in LaGrange or Bikram Yoga of Rolling Meadows. All these deals and more can be found only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Bill has apparently was smothered by a handkerchief with sodium pentothal because he said sometimes he wishes he wasn't married. You don't say.
We'll have that, and you'll hear it here. But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Partly cloudy, 13 degrees. Wind chills around -6 this morning. Donald Trump rode a wide range of support from voters to a dominating victory in the New Hampshire primary.
What do we really want to thank, right? We want to thank the people of New Hampshire, right? Do we love the people of New Hampshire?
Chris Christie heading home to think about the future of his presidential campaign after a tough defeat.
So we will go home to New Jersey tomorrow morning. We will make a decision on our next step forward based upon the results that come in here completed here in New Hampshire.
Meantime, on the Democratic side, women under 45 back primary winner Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders by a wide margin over Hillary Clinton.
So we will go home to New Jersey tomorrow morning.
Because of a huge voter turnout, and I say huge, we won.
Democrat presidential candidate Hillary Clinton vows to continue fighting for every vote in every state.
I want to begin by congratulating Senator Sanders on his victory tonight, and I want to thank each and every one of you, and I want to say I still love New Hampshire, and I always will.
In other news this morning, police in Germany say they're no longer looking for a missing person in the train crash that killed 10 and injured dozens. The U.S. Supreme Court is dealing a major blow to the Obama administration's plan to battle climate change. The court yesterday granting a request made by 27 states and various companies to block federal regulations to curb carbon dioxide emissions from power plants. The U.S. Department of Justice is threatening to take the city of Ferguson, Missouri to court. Justice officials made that threat last night after a city council meeting in that St. Louis suburb. The council asking for changes in the city's agreement with the Department of Justice. Here locally, Oak Forest detectives say financial problems may have led to the deaths of 3 family members in a murder-suicide.
David Joost had just lost his employment in Orland Park, and there's evidence that they were struggling financially.
Police Chief Gregory Anderson in Oak Forest and Northwest Suburban Police are continuing their search for the father of 2 who's been missing since early this week. Tim Anderson was last seen leaving his Arlington Heights home on Monday morning. His car found near the Barrington Riding Center. Bulls All-Star Jimmy Butler sidelined 3 to 4 weeks with a strained knee. San Jose beat the Blackhawks last night 2-0. The news service of Uber. Hey, Chicago, Uber has an easy way to reduce traffic congestion and get you reimbursed for your drive. It's called Uber Commute. Just turn on the Uber app and you'll automatically be matched with fellow commuters going the same way during commuting hours. Sign up free at uber.com/commute. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
In New Hampshire, It was Donald Trump who came out on top.
We are going to make America so great again, maybe greater than ever before.
Now, the race turns to South Carolina.
Because I'm coming back.
What happens next on the campaign trail
We'll see you in a few weeks. We're going to come and win.
happens here.
We're going to fight for real solutions that make a real difference in people's lives.
This is your election station, AM 560.
Thank you, New Hampshire.
The Answer.
Through Wheaton's Modular MA in Intercultural Studies, you'll train with their globally connected community on the latest methods for careers in cross-cultural ministry. Apply by March 15th at wheaton.edu/crosscultural. Ah, yes, the good old 9 to 5. Good stuff, huh? You can almost feel the life force getting sucked right out of you. You've always wanted to be your own boss and take control of your financial future. It's about time you contacted the franchise professional who can guide you to success. Franchising guru Meg Schmitz is your key. She's been a franchise insider for over 25 years and has started and run top-tier businesses of all kinds. She can match you with the franchise opportunity that fits your goals the best. Why would you leave that choice up to the internet? Safe to say that Mr. and Mrs. Google probably won't get to know you the way Meg will. Make an educated decision about buying a gold standard franchise that fits you like a glove. Call Meg Schmitz for your free guide to business ownership at 847-302-2601 or visit goldstandardfranchise.com for more information. Take control of your financial future and be your own franchise boss now. 847-302-2601 or goldstandardfranchise.com.
537 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Palos Hills, a fire at a strip mall has Harlem Avenue closed southbound between 103rd and 105th. Northbound Harlem has reopened there. Inbound Bishop Ford Freeway stop and go 159th to 154th. The crash in the left lane. Then it's heavy Cottage Grove to the Rhine. 19 minutes, 8094th emerge. Ryan has a 3-minute delay from Cermak into the Burns Circle. Metra says Union Pacific West Line passengers can expect delays and potential cancellations after yesterday's electrical fire at Melrose Park. Officials hope to get repairs completed sometime tomorrow. Traffic is a service of Discount Tire. Come by Discount Tire this Friday and Saturday for incredible President's Day deals. Get Visa prepaid cards for up to $320 when you buy select tire and wheel packages with your Discount Tire credit card. Thank you, Discount Tire. Your low-priced discount journey starts there. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center, AirComfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Partly sunny and bitterly cold, high of 18 today and a low of 8 above overnight. Currently 10 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MJ Miller & Company Jewelers. Give your love the best. Visit MJ Miller at 123 West Main Street in downtown Barrington.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking New Hampshire primary, taking your calls 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 646-36DA, turnkey.pro, text line. Get your reactions to what happened, what you think is going to happen.
Are you shocked? I mean, Donald Trump won by a 19-point margin of victory. That's better than John McCain did in 2000.
Right.
So in the New Hampshire primary.
It's the same number he's had for 6 months. What's to be shocked?
I thought for sure that Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz or Jeb Bush would have performed better and maybe have been taking some votes away from Donald Trump, but clearly, I don't know what's going on because I can't predict any of this.
Well, by the way, as I said before, polls accurate, surveys accurate. You do polling right, and you get fairly accurate results for that moment in time. Kasich started to move after the debate on Saturday, and he moved into second place. Rubio was moving into Saturday, and then he had his rinse and repeat moment. And he fell to fifth place.
Fifth place. I mean, his plan was 3, 2, and 1. 3 in Iowa, 2 in New Hampshire, 1 in South Carolina, instead of 3, 5, and Lord knows what he's going to get in South Carolina.
Well, right. And so Rubio took ownership of what happened on Saturday night and the results that it drove last night.
It's on me. I did not do well on Saturday night, so listen to this. That will never happen again. That will never happen again.
It just happened again.
But
he repeated himself.
He's not supposed to.
She keeps doing. He can't help himself. Somebody stop that man. Yeah. So he took ownership for the debate performance. Although after the debate performance on Saturday night, Sunday, and into Monday, he was doubling and tripling down on what had happened. I mean, I guess you have to do that, but
Well, here he is one-on-one with Lester Holt.
Senator, we're sitting in a diner and on TV right now.
I know.
They're talking about you.
Let's dispel once and for all with this fiction that Barack Obama doesn't know what he's doing. Let's dispel with this fiction that Barack Obama doesn't know what he's doing.
You repeated the same thing 4 times.
I'll say it again. Barack Obama's trying to change America, and he's doing damage to this country with those changes. I'll say again, none of the things that have happened are accidents. Obamacare was not an accident. Dodd-Frank is not an accident.
Yeah.
So did that help him at all, or did that do himself a disservice?
The point, Rubio. The problem with Rubio is not the premise. The premise is correct. That what President Obama is attempting to do is purposeful. It is not accidental. It is not just the function of, gosh, we don't know what gambits we want to pursue, so they're accidentally falling into the pursuit of a government takeover of health care or the consolidation of the big banks, the big rent-seeking banks. These aren't accidents. The implementation is where the incompetence comes in because, of course, central planning doesn't work, not even as well as the central planners would like it to. The problem with Rubio is the lack of texture. You've made your thesis statement.
Yes.
Explain it, like you do in a term paper. Now develop the thesis. Don't just rinse and repeat the thesis. I heard you the 4th time. Now tell me.
You're getting sick of his scripted messages?
Well, give you.
Well, that's the same thing Donald Trump is doing.
You have to provide texture. Donald Trump provides kind of a one-man show. That's completely different. Rubio's not going to do that. But it's the principle, policy, passion. Establish the principle or the thesis. Explain a one policy that would flow from that principle you would pursue or you have pursued. And then the passion, give me an anecdote or a data point or a vignette that helps to explain, that helps to put meat on the bone of this abstract principle or thesis statement. That's all Rubio has to do. It requires a little bit of thought, and it requires being, perhaps as much as he's given credit for being this wonderful politician and great communicator, it requires a little bit of thinking so that you're a little bit better on your feet, that you hear the music, you don't just know the words. And I think Rubio's a conservative, but I think sometimes he doesn't want to listen to the music. He just wants to repeat the words, and he wants to do so in an excited, earnest way. And it's kind of his timber that's going to win the day rather than developing an idea. And I just think he does not done a great job developing ideas. I mean, and so he had to take ownership for it on Saturday night, or for what happened on Saturday night last night, because he is in a bad place right now, and he puts a lot of people in a bad place because I thought you were going to be the golden boy and we were going to be able to crystallize this as Rubio versus Trump at some point, and that doesn't seem likely right now. It
Trump
seems much
versus
more,
who? It's a muddled mess in the middle. I mean,
it is, but it seems much more likely that this could go the way of Trump versus Cruz, because right now in South Carolina, it's Trump versus Cruz. And oh, by the way, you go back to South Carolina, 60% of the South Carolina Republican primary electorate, evangelicals. So right back into Cruz's wheelhouse,
a little
as it
taste
were.
of Iowa there.
Now, he's got a more distance to make up between himself and Trump than he did in Iowa. But Cruz's third-place finish, which is being suppressed in terms of the importance of it, because
did he give a concession speech last night?
He spoke, but I mean but networks. I didn't see the networks carry it. It's being It's being repressed because the Washington Press Corps doesn't like Ted Cruz, and he's not entertaining for them. They may not like Trump, but they kind of. They have
to feed the beast.
They have a morbid like for him because he's entertaining and he makes headlines and he says outlandish things. They just don't like Ted Cruz straight away, and so they're going to try and suppress the Ted Cruz narrative.
Kasich, Rubio, you're right, everybody but Ted Cruz, and Ben Carson left and Chris Christie left before the numbers were in, and I don't know about Carly.
And to be fair to Kasich,
Oh, yeah. Kasich.
he made the point that his strong second-place finish, relatively strong, I mean, in the fact that nobody predicted him to finish second before this weekend, that he surged in the last 72 hours, that was a tribute to his positive campaign. John Kasich, the force of light against the darkness.
At a time when clearly change is in the air, maybe, just maybe, we are turning the page on a dark part of American politics, because tonight the light overcame the darkness of negative campaigning. And you made it happen. You made it happen. You made it happen. You made it happen.
It was funny because
it was a little bit of Oprah.
He did remind me of Oprah, but also, too, he kept doing this, Dan, giving the peace sign. Because somebody else was speaking on his campaign manager, and he's literally walking around stage going, yeah, holding up the peace sign, but meaning we're number two. Like, I'm number two. Yeah, believe.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so uncomfortable, but yet a little entertaining, I have to say. But I should have known he was doing well, because while many of you were watching the Super Bowl, I was scanning and watching Donald Trump at one of his rallies, and 3 people left, and they told Katie Tour from, I think, MSNBC, they said, you know what, we're going to go see John Kasich. We're going to go see what he's all about. And I don't know, people just seem to start liking John Kasich.
Candace in DuPage on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I was going to say something else about Marco Rubio, but the race is going to be about the left versus the right and capitalism versus socialism. And if Marco Rubio doesn't change his tune, it's not about Barack Obama. As Dennis Prager says, darn it, it's about the left. He gets so mad about this, and it's true. But my second point is I think Kasich did really well, because the regular media propped him up big time after the last debate. So.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Candace. I mean, the storyline coming out of the debate, and a Saturday night debate, few people watch. A lot of people watched this.
13 million people watched it.
Yeah, that's and a lot more people have their opinions formed by the coverage, and this is for every debate, by the coverage of the debate after the fact on Sunday and into Monday. And the storyline was Rubio's robotic performance, his Rick Perry moment in the eyes of some. I think it's probably a little strong, but certainly that was the perception among many, and many writing about it. In addition to that was the governors did well. And by the way, for those who said, there was one of the other storylines last night was, well, Chris Christie took Rubio down, but it was a political murder-suicide because Chris Christie finished, 6th at 8%. Actually, maybe a little bit, but Chris Christie outperformed where he was going into the debate on Saturday night. He was at 4 or 5%. He finishes 8%, 9%. Actually, Christie benefited a lot. It's just Kasich benefited more from his performance, as well as the infrastructure he had built over the last several months, doing 100 town halls in New Hampshire. This is an interesting Facebook post, too. I just want to read from somebody on my Facebook page who lives in New Hampshire about the whole, live free or die, and you get Trump and Sanders. Some cognitive dissonance there. She writes, I've lived in New Hampshire since the end of 2006. The problem is far too many government employees from New York, Vermont, Massachusetts come here to retire because our state has no income tax. Then the retirees freaking vote Democrat because they didn't realize Democrats ruined their state. It sucks. I came here in 2006 when the state turned from red to blue. It had been red for 100 years prior to that. So anyway, just the idea of
it's a great point. It's
Democrats fleeing states they've destroyed to New Hampshire, and then, of course, doing the same, like the band of marauders they are.
Open your boxes. 1, 2, 3. You get a car! 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 You get a car!
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Oh, the cold has arrived. Partly sunny today, but a high of 18 degrees. Tonight, a low of 8 degrees. And tomorrow, mostly sunny, just a tad bit warmer, a high of 21. Any numbers on the roadways that we could wrap our head around, Jim Telemonte?
Well, we have some delays, Amy. Dan, on the inbound Bishop Ford Freeway, it is stop and go from before 159th to around 154th. An earlier crash there has cleared. Then it's heavy as well from Cottage Grove to the Ryan. So about 22 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. And outbound it's fine at 15. The inbound Ryan has a 4-minute delay from the Stevenson into downtown. About Stevenson, just a little slowing from State to Lakeshore Drive. The other expressways and tollways right now look good. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Running a business can be challenging, especially here in Illinois. You face mountains of regulations on top of mountains of taxes and fees, not to mention new Obamacare requirements. Business owners who manage to survive and thrive deserve to be recognized, and that's exactly what we here at AM 560 The Answer are going to do. This spring, we'll be hitting the road on the AM 560 Business Tour, presented by Signature Bank, where I do my business banking. It's a way for us to celebrate local businesses who are overcoming the odds and succeeding in spite of the many challenges they face. We want to give back to the business community by broadcasting this show live from various locations throughout Chicagoland. Does your business have a great success story? If so, we want to hear about it. Go to 560theanswer.com/business. Fill out the brief form to tell us about how you and your business are beating the odds to serve your clients in your community. We'll select several businesses as stops on our AM 560 Business Tour, and we'll broadcast from your location to share your success with our audience. We hope to inspire other business owners and show the world that, yes, you did build that. So go to 560theanswer.com/business to tell us your story, and we may be stopping at your location this spring on the AM 560 Business Tour.
When elderly family require care, you insist on local medical professionals with specialized training in home service and nursing. Alliance Home Service is a leading family alternative to nursing home and institutional care. It's critical to ask the right questions when matching a caregiver to your loved one to maintain the most positive lifestyle for your entire family. Alliance Home Service is among a select group of Chicagoland companies providing in-home non-medical care such as hygiene, medication reminders, activities and companionship, and medical care. All caregivers have the highest level of training and expertise. You'll experience the cost efficiency of in-home care as well as the level of caring you expect from family. Call founder and registered nurse Linda Weiler at 866-227-3459 or alliancecaregiver.com for no obligation family care consultation. Alliance Home Service, our family caring for your family. That's 866-227-3459 or alliancecaregiver.com.
If your company needs custom metal fabrication products, then you should know AM 560 Feed the Children business benefactor Lockport Steel Fabricators. For over 7 decades, from the smallest project to major commercial construction, Lockport Steel's family of companies has excelled at manufacturing a diverse product mix, including structural steel, miscellaneous metals, aluminum extrusions, and more. Imagine the peace of mind knowing you're working with a national company that's AISC certified right here in Chicagoland. Customers know Lockport Steel focuses on getting your job done right, on time, and to exact needs and specs. Immediate turnaround service is also available. Discover why all types of major industries, including oil and gas, power generation, telecommunications, store fixtures, and commercial construction companies, trust Lockport Steel to make it happen for them. Visit lockportsteel.com or call Greg Radecki today at 815-927-4401 for a no-obligation quote and consultation. Lockport Steel Fabricators, making it happen. That's lockportsteel.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, one of the other storylines coming out of New Hampshire, in addition to Hillary getting pantsuited.
She didn't wear a pantsuit last night. She had on a black dress with a white collar and white cuffs. She looked like a little bit of a priest.
Yeah.
Female priest.
The high priestess of the left. One of the other storylines is, Bill Clinton not helping. Not helping. He looks.
What did he do? Kind of another mistress. What's going on?
He's out of sorts. He's not particularly good on the stump, and he's saying weird things that are
lamp,
totally tone deaf.
Carpet,
for example.
The hotter this election gets, the more I wish I were just a former president and just for a few months, not the spouse of the next one. Because, I have to be careful what I say. Tonight, my job is to introduce Hillary. Sometimes, when I'm on a stage like this, I wish we weren't married. Then I could say what I really think.
What do you really think? Why is it that you being married to Hillary doesn't allow you to say what you really think exactly?
Because he wants to bash Bernie Sanders. He wants to bash Bernie Sanders.
He did that anyway. And,
he did?
And maybe this is why. Maybe it's fear that has overtaken Bill. He's not going to have the rumpus room like he wanted. Andrea Mitchell, close friend of the Clintons, had this analysis.
So why him more than her? Watching him watch her these last few days when they've been campaigning together, because previously he was on his own and as a surrogate, just watching his face, he could not mask the recognition that, oh my, this is happening again.
Yeah.
She's going to lose.
Brick, are you just looking at things in the office and saying that you love them?
I love lamp.
Do you really love the lamp, or are you just saying it because you saw it?
I love lamp. I love lamp.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, this is Joe Walsh, excited to tell you about Chicagoland's finest gun shop and indoor shooting range. I'm talking about Maxson Shooters Supplies and Indoor Range, just north of O'Hare in Des Plaines. Maxson is Chicagoland's first NSSF 5-star facility and one of only 70 nationwide. Hey, protecting your family and Second Amendment rights are real important. That's why Maxson Shooters Supplies is focused on safety, proficiency, education, and takes real pride in providing the area's highest quality facility to hone your skills on one of their 20 handgun, rifle, and shotgun stations. Maxson has the classes you need, including Illinois Concealed Carry and 2 on-staff gunsmiths for all your repair and customization needs. Maxson is easy to reach in Des Plaines, just off of I-90 and Mount Prospect Road. For information or directions, call 847-298-4867 or visit MaxsonShooters.com. That's MAXON Shooters.com. Maxson Shooters, Supplies and Indoor Range.
You're a physician, a nurse, or in the medical field. You have a sick patient who requires a custom, non-sterile compounded medication. This is some big news. You can refer with confidence your patients to Martin Avenue Pharmacy in Naperville, the first and only compounding pharmacy in DuPage, Kane, Kendall, LaSalle, DeKalb, and Western Will County to earn the Pharmacy Compounding Accreditation Board's seal of accreditation. The first and only. Patients and medical professionals want to know their compounding pharmacy is of the highest quality and has been independently verified. PCAB offers patients and medical professionals a way to verify that their compounding pharmacy is meeting the very highest and strictest national standards. When you know the difference, it makes a difference. Martin Avenue Pharmacy in Naperville, a PCAB accredited compounding pharmacy, 630-355-6400, or go to martinavenue.com.
We make it better, like nobody else. We make it better. Martin Avenue.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. You know, nothing frustrates me more than liberal hypocrisy. Take our food, for example. You know, the left claims to care about the poor and the environment, but guess what? They're waging a silent war against America's farmers that is making our food supply more costly and less sustainable. America's family farmers are producing more food using less land and fewer resources than ever before. Now, they should be cheered, but instead, radical groups are working with government bureaucrats to crack down on our farmers and limit the tools and technology that they're allowed to use. Now, the result is higher food costs for you, the American consumer, and low-income families, they're hit the hardest. Now, thankfully, someone is fighting back. Protect the Harvest is a national coalition working to defend modern American agriculture. You can check them out at protecttheharvest.com and follow them on Facebook to get the very latest news and see how you can help. Don't let radical activists control your family's food choices. Visit protecttheharvest.com today.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, President Obama speaks in Springfield. What will he say? But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a family dead in a murder-suicide, apparently struggled with financial problems. Arlington Heights police this morning are searching for a missing father. Chicago City Council in a fight over TIF funds. Lawyer charged with stealing from his ex-boss. And Butler out for 4 weeks with an injury on the Bulls squad while the Hawks fall to San Jose. A partly sunny day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Dave Anthony. The Donald is the winner.
We want to thank the people of New Hampshire, right?
Trump got more than double the votes of the second-place Republican in New Hampshire's Democrat primary. Bernie Sanders beat Hillary Clinton by 22 points. Fox's Rachel Sutherland was at his headquarters, now live in Manchester.
Dave, Clinton sounds like she wants to put the loss behind her, telling supporters it's time to take the campaign to the entire country.
We're going to fight for every vote in every state.
Sanders, who won 60% of the vote, said the people of New Hampshire are sending a message.
From Wall Street to Washington, from Maine to California,
People I talked to at Sanders headquarters say they believe in his vision, universal health care, raising the minimum wage, and income equality. Dave.
Now, Rachel, the Republican side, Fox's Tanya J. Powers, was at Trump headquarters, also live in Manchester.
While Donald Trump ran away with the lead.
We're repealing and replacing Obamacare. It's gone. We're getting rid of Common Core. We're going to educate our children locally.
Ohio Governor John Kasich came out in second place.
The light overcame the darkness of negative campaigning.
Ted Cruz took third, Jeb Bush in fourth, and Marco Rubio fifth, admitting his debate performance last weekend hurt him.
I did not do well on Saturday night, so listen to this. That will never happen again.
They'll now head to South Carolina, where they'll try and make up some of the ground Trump gained here, Dave.
Tanya, Chris Christie is reevaluating his campaign after a distant sixth-place finish in New Hampshire. In Flint, Michigan, the water crisis is featuring prominently in the state budget. Governor Rick Snyder today will set aside $195 million for the city and the lead-contaminated water and $165 million for statewide infrastructure needs to fix water problems. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Partly cloudy skies, 11 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Oak Forest detectives say financial problems may have led to the deaths of 3 family members in a murder-suicide.
David Joost had just lost his employment in Orland Park, and there's evidence that they were struggling financially.
Police Chief Gregory Anderson says Joost was dealing with hard times before apparently strangling his wife and son. Chicago police say 16 people have been charged with operating a fake ticket ring. Police say 8 of the gang members have been brought into custody. The ring selling counterfeit tickets online to games, events, and concerts at Soldier Field, the UC, and Allstate Arena in Rosemont. Police organized crime chief Anthony Riccio says gangs use ticket sales to fund basic operations.
They use them to purchase weapons. They use them for bond when gang members are arrested. They use them to pay attorney fees when gang members are arrested. So pretty much any operation of the street gang is being financed by these ticket sales.
Authorities say the suspects made up to $60,000 per event off fake ticket sales. Mayor Emanuel's city council allies have stalled a plan pushed by an independent group of aldermen to transfer some special tax money to public schools. The mayor has offered a plan to provide some of the surplus TIF funds to the schools, but a budget committee vote on the more extensive plan to transfer about $1 billion was put off by Chairman Kerry Austin. A DuPage County judge has found a Westmont man accused of vandalizing a Lombard synagogue not guilty by reason of insanity. John White was arrested in 2014 after breaking windows at that synagogue and defacing its door. A former McHenry County prosecutor needs a lawyer herself after being accused of stealing thousands of dollars from a man she used to work for. 51-year-old Robin Perry pleaded not guilty to stealing thousands of dollars over a 3-year period from accounts held by a civil attorney for whom she worked for a few months. Chicago sports, Bulls guard Jimmy Butler sidelined for up to 4 weeks with a strained knee. Sharks over the Blackhawks last night, 2-0. College hoops, Kent State beat our Northern Illinois Huskies 75-74 last night. Ohio State topped Northwestern. Number 1 Villanova dethroned DePaul. The news service of Fix Auto Collision Centers. Crashed your car? You have a friend in the business with Fix Auto Collision Centers with locations throughout Chicagoland. Call Fix Auto Collision Centers today, 800-INFO-FIX, 800-INFO-FIX, 800-INFO-FIX. 6:04, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
In New Hampshire, it was Donald Trump who came out on top.
We are going to make America so great again, maybe greater than ever before.
Now, the race turns to South Carolina.
Because I'm coming back.
What happens next on the campaign trail
We'll see you in a few weeks. We're going to come and win.
happens here.
We're going to fight for real solutions that make a real difference in people's lives.
This is your election station, AM 560.
Thank you, New Hampshire.
The Answer.
Hey, sorry I'm late. I'm the chair for the company picnic committee, and I'm overwhelmed with finding the perfect catering partner.
Don't
Don't be freaked out by that. Tasty Catering has done our company picnic every year for the last 5 years. I actually went to Tasty Catering's kitchen first to taste the food. They served juicy burgers right from the grill, fresh salads, awesome sides, and fun foods for the kids. Last year, we even had delicious brisket and an entire pig roast.
Can they handle all the details? There's not much time to plan.
Planning was even easier. Tasty Catering handled every detail, from serving pieces to inflatables for the kids, the DJ, and of course, the bar area.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Just go to tastycatering.com. The pricing was right, and our CFO signed off on the contract immediately.
The best company picnics start at tastycatering.com. View picnic menus and locations, entertainment options, and more. That's tastycatering.com.
Uber is an app that helps you make extra money just for driving your car. And because it's totally flexible, you don't have to quit your day job to make more money, because you can drive and earn whenever you want. There are 3 simple steps to start making money. First, sign up for free on your phone. Second, answer a few questions and get approved. And third, start driving. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up today at drivewithuber.com. That's drivewithuber.com.
Hansel and Gretel left breadcrumbs on the trail to help find their way back home. You leave breadcrumbs when you use public Wi-Fi, shop online, or give out your social security number. At LifeLock, we can detect signs that someone picked up your breadcrumbs to take what's yours. Unlike free credit monitoring, we have a resolution staff to help fix messy identity fraud problems. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. Plans start at $9.99 a month. Go to lifelock.com and get 10% off with promo code NEWS.
6:07 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Let's get the very latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens and the Kennedy are fine for now. Inbound Eisenhower just a little heavy between Manheim and First Avenue. Mount Stevenson, heavy Pulaski to Kedzie and State to Lakeshore Drive. 36 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Ryan is 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, about 20 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. Slow from Sibley to 130th. There's a stall on the right shoulder. There's a delay on the eastbound Adams Tollway from Toohey to Lee. Indiana Toll Road eastbound in LaPorte County, it's closed from 421 in Michigan City to County Road 700 West to Jackknife Semis, mile marker 44. Traffic is a service of Chicagoland, JiffyLube.com. You don't have to make an appointment at Jiffy Lube, and they offer more than just oil changes. So if you need a high-quality oil change, wiper blades, or any other preventive maintenance, Jiffy Lube has you covered. For more details and big savings on your service, visit ChicagolandJiffyLube.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center, AirComfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Wind chill values of 0 to 10 below 0 for today and tonight. Partial sunshine today with a high 17 and a partly cloudy night with a low 7. Tomorrow mostly sunny, high 22. Clouds increasing at night, low 13. Mostly cloudy and breezy Friday, high 25. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
10 above at O'Hare, 14 above along the lakefront. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Power Trading Radio. Heard Sundays at 2 p.m. Brought to you each week by Online Trading Academy.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
We are going to make America great again.
The light overcame the darkness of negative campaigning. And you made it happen.
I did not do well on Saturday night, so listen to this. That will never happen again.
And we've learned it's not whether you get knocked down that matters, it's whether you get back up.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So President Obama descends from on high to our fair state capitol this afternoon to give remarks before the Illinois General Assembly. We'll talk to State Representative Margot McDermot, Republican from Mokina, at the bottom of the hour about what is anticipated down in the hallowed halls of the state capitol.
Yeah, and sorry, guys, it's not open to the public. So, Dan, I know you had plans to hop on I-55 after the show and drive on down there, but only elected officials and a few handful of guests are allowed in.
I thought we would recreate the big, exuberant rally from 2008 when he announced, or 2007, when he announced his candidacy.
Oh, yeah.
And, he was outside.
The columns that were in the background.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I understand. I wasn't there. But yeah, that's not going to happen.
It was picturesque. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
He's going to sprinkle his pixie dust around the chamber and bring Runner and Madigan together and magically make all of our problems here in Illinois, the unpaid bills and the unfunded liabilities, they're all going to go away.
Is he going to have a printing press while he just gives us billions upon billions of dollars to make our debt go away?
Well, that's what he's doing at the federal level.
Hey-o.
What do you expect President Obama to say, other than there's no red Illinois and there's no blue Illinois? There's just Illinois. What do you expect him to say? What do you want him to say? How quickly would you like him to leave the state? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Of course, you can download the AM560 mobile app to communicate with us that way as well.
Well, they say that he's going to recall his work in the Illinois General Assembly.
All those present votes.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you because you're hip to the scene down there. And what did he accomplish in the Illinois General Assembly when he was
I
our US
remember
Senator?
being told how to vote by Senate President Emil Jones fondly. I remember voting present on difficult pieces of legislation. I remember, I don't know, kind of hanging out with the rest of these yokels, most of whom are gone now, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So this idea there's no turnover in the Illinois General Assembly turns out to be a fallacy. The problem is there's no turnover at the leadership level, Madigan, Cullerton. But the turnover actually in the General Assembly is substantial. It turns out between 2002 and 2012.
Yeah.
So in the 10 years after Obama left, you know what the turnover was in the State House and State Senate? North of 80% in both chambers.
Wow.
So you actually do have a lot of turnover for those who think, oh, it's just if we just get term limits, that's going to be some kind of panacea. We won't have a professional ruling class. Wrong. It's not how it actually works. You will, because you're going to have a ruling class so long as you give our representatives so much over which to rule. The problem is the size of government. It's not just a personnel problem. This is kind of lost in what a lot of populist politicians say. And look, and this is something that Bruce Rauner's pushing as well. I think it's fool's gold. Just as a quick aside to kind of underscore one of the points, because it's term limits and redistricting reform, you remember. Governor Rauner specifically mentioned in his State of the State address, because he said this is something even President Obama agrees with me on, term limits and redistricting reform. Now, redistricting reform, I know it's not a sexy topic.
I love redistricting reform.
You could talk about gerrymandering for hours.
I loved that was the name of my high school band, gerrymandering.
That's a good band name.
Mm-hmm.
And Elbridge Gerry, the former governor of Massachusetts, from which the term comes, appreciates that.
Yeah.
From whom the term comes.
From whom? Yeah, Dan, come on.
For who the bell tolls. For whom the bell tolls. So redistrict. Just as a quick redistricting reform to have more competitive elections. That's right. A substantive reform. That's important to have more real races and not just a handful of races that are actually competitive with people, having to kind of be represented by, say, Danny Davis as their congressman, like I do.
Stop it. Yeah, when did he become your congressman?
I think right after Illinois was incorporated in 1818.
Well, Josh Ernst, White House press secretary, said yesterday that President Obama, Dan, doesn't intend to take a back seat for running the state government of Illinois, which is in its 8th month without a budget. So he's coming here to Springfield or to Illinois on the request of my state senator, John Cullerton, who said that he's going to end the impasse, that President Obama's visit is going to magically change everything. And we're all going to get along. We're going to pass a budget. We're going to pay for spending packages that money we don't have.
Here's what I think President Obama's coming. One is because it's nice to bookend his tenure. I mean, this is all. Remember, it's always about him, his legacy, his image. So think about this. He starts there in 2007. He comes here in
9 years later, to the day.
2016, his final year in office. And so it just kind of bookends his rise to power. That's number one. Number two, as it pertains to Illinois, remember, this is a favor economy. This is how it runs here in this kleptocracy we call Chicago, that we call Illinois. So he's coming here at the behest of Cullerton. Yeah, Rahm.
Is Rahm going to be down there?
Yeah, he's coming to political cover for actual allies, particularly Rahm. Political cover maybe because there is a more willingness by Rahm and by Cullerton to deal on some of the issues that are part of Governor Rauner's turnaround agenda that he demands be dealt with in a material way, a substantive way, that we get some structural reform of state government that we can't finance in order for him to have a conversation about some of the things that Democrats want as it pertains to school funding or even revenue enhancements, tax increases. So that's, I think, the real play politically as it relates to the state is to provide a couple Democrat chieftains with political cover against Mike Madigan, because Mike Madigan didn't invite him. And I'm not so sure Mike Madigan is real keen that he's coming here, and I'm sure Mike Madigan sees what is happening.
I think Mike Madigan thinks he has more power than President Obama. He'll be standing behind him up high like he does with John Cullerton, looking down on President Obama.
Mike Madigan does have more power than President Obama in the state of Illinois, and he has for a long time, which is why social service providers who haven't been paid and should be paid, or universities that are looking for the money that the state had guaranteed to them, and others who are owed money by the state, private sector vendors and public sector institutions, why they're looking at Bruce Rauner. It's all the governor's fault because he just won't sign some $4 billion unconstitutionally unbalanced budget that Mike Madigan wants to pass on like he's been passing on for the last 14 years. Why they're focused on Rauner is laughable, because everybody's in on the joke at this point that Mike Madigan is and has been the most powerful politician in the state for generations, and everything runs through him. So if you want to lodge your grievances, why don't you go to the king? It's not the governor who's been there 12 months. It's the Speaker of the House who's been there 30 years.
Governor Rauner is going to greet President Obama at the Springfield airport. And then after his speech, Rauner has invited Obama to have a beer at an unnamed Springfield establishment.
Yeah.
Maybe the governor's mansion? No. They'll be somewhere public. But no, Rauner said that he hopes Obama will push his ideas, including redistricting reform and term limits.
Right. Tom and Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I bet Rauner really wants to have a beer with this guy. If he had any brains, he'd shut down the Springfield airport and divert all flights to Milwaukee or someplace nice like that. Having Mr. Obama come here to tell us about all his accomplishments, like what he challenged everybody whoever ran a campaign against him and got him thrown off the ballots, or Illinois is where he learned how to read a teleprompter, or where he learned how to say after every two words so he could appear smart or something. Yeah, I don't get it. I wouldn't entertain this guy. He's somewhere else.
Well, thanks for the call, Tom. I mean, look, to Obama's credit, he took the Chicago Democrat model of governance that was exported to state government, and he scaled it nationally. And look how great that is. So, I mean, this is, if you like how Chicago and the state of Illinois are run, then you should love what President Obama has done at the federal level, because it's been a proxy for this model of governance that was just blown up.
I just had a visual. Can you imagine if Rauner and President Obama had a beer or wine together, and little tiny dancers at the window of the bar saying, hey, can I come in?
Right.
Can you let me in? We were in a wine club together.
Yeah.
Bruce, let me in.
Pull the car around, tiny dancer. Maybe they can do arms interlocked with like a flute of champagne and drink each. Mike on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. I can't believe how cynical you are. Amy almost had it right.
Uh-oh.
The printing presses are going to be running, but they're not going to be printing money because the Democrats don't care about paying bills. They're going to be printing blanket pardons for the Daley Vinecco, Friends Felon, and Family Crime family. I mean, if we get a Republican president and U.S. attorney, the Daleys are in trouble. They got to get those pardons in now.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mike. Maybe a preemptive pardon of Tiny Dancer.
I think that, and so I think what the United States can do is to. There's been. I am so
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, partly sunny, bitterly cold when President Obama arrives in Illinois. Today, we're going to have a high of 18 degrees. Tonight, the cold continues, a low of 8. And then tomorrow, here we go again. Very cold, mostly sunny, though, a high of 21 degrees. Any good news on the inbound Bishop Ford, Jim Telemonte?
Actually, there is, Amy. Things have improved considerably. It's still a little heavy from 103rd to the Rhine, but it's only 18 minutes from 8094 to the merge. A couple of earlier crashes had tied things
and
up.
it would leak.
Inbound Ryan has a 4-minute delay.
Is it a alarm going to sound if you go out here?
Aidens is clear. Inbound Kennedy, still Harlem and Foster. 23 minutes so here downtown up on 41. Eisenhower 34 minutes. Thorndale to the
We don't want an alarm to sound. We're going to open the door.
7 minutes.
Is there a waiter we can ask? I think the alarm will sound, but I think it's worth it.
Worth it? We have to. Left lane. Michigan City, the eastbound Indiana toll road is closed. 421 to County Road 700 West due to a collision involving a couple of semis. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
There you go again. On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560.
I never proclaimed that I was perfect.
You'll broaden
But
the
at the
debate
end of the
move
day,
beyond partisan assumptions and challenge accepted
people pick
orthodoxies.
and
In other words, Upstream
do
Ideas
things
goes
of that
against
sort.
the current.
And at the truth of the matter is,
go online now to
who are you to say that your way is
upstream-ideas.com.
right?
That's upstream-ideas.com.
Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, we
You'll
got
be
all these
armed
people
with
that's
new information and fresh
condemning and
perspectives
saying,
to
"Oh
spur
man,
you
he
on
should
to
get
make the
this, that,
state
and
of
the third."
Illinois and the
But what
United
makes your
States
way
of
right?
America a bit more free, a bit more just, and
I mean, I've been on record to say I'm a sore loser.
upstream-ideas.com.
Who likes to lose? You show me a good loser, and I'm gonna show you a loser. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to. It's not a popularity contest.
That they have been
You
hearing
know what I'm
our
saying?
advertisements
I'm here to
for
win
years.
football games.
What are you waiting for? Start now and begin experiencing the benefits of balance of nature in your life.
I do feel noticeably more energy with the balance of nature. I'm very, very pleased with what I've seen so far. It really does improve my energy level. It's a good pill. I like it. And I sleep better. I just sleep more sounder. And when I get up, I'm up. I mean, I'm like, I don't go back to sleep. I feel like I need to take a nap. So there's a noticeable difference in energy. Very impressed. Very, very impressed.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Chicago winters are brutal. But when you're homeless, they can be life-threatening. At 54, Trudy fell on hard times and ended up living on the streets. On cold winter nights, Trudy says the trick was to sleep on empty milk cartons to keep her body from freezing on the frozen ground. Well, thankfully, Trudy found Franciscan Outreach. Franciscan Outreach provides people who are homeless with hot meals, a warm bed, access to health care, and the support needed to improve their lives. Today, with the help of Franciscan Outreach, Trudy is employed, has permanent housing, and sleeps in her own warm bed on cold winter nights. Please find a home in your heart for those who are homeless. Visit franoutreach.org to find out how you can help. Your gift will help improve the lives of hundreds of people like Trudy every day. franoutreach.org. Make a difference today.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about the one coming to Springfield to address the General Assembly today.
And then having a beer Or maybe some wine with Governor Rauner afterwards.
I'm probably a spritzer.
No, I think they'll have wine, and Mayor Emanuel's going to want to get in on that.
Charlotte in Arlington Heights, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, you can correct me, but I think I remember some of the legislation Barack Obama voted present on. He just couldn't commit himself to, well, parental notification when a minor teenager was getting an abortion. There was legislation to get tough on gangs. He voted present. And zoning laws, tougher zoning laws, keeping porn shops away from schools and churches. I guess the Internet now takes care of that. But that's why I was horrified when he was going to run for higher office, like U.S. Senate. And what do you remember, Dan?
I remember those things. I remember feeling a similar sense of horror. And our sense of horror was well placed. Thanks for the call, Charlotte. And on that topic, too, of course.
She did her homework.
Perhaps the most egregious was the live birth abortion ban bill. We've talked about it before. A baby born, botched abortion. And so you protect the child that's born? Nope. No. Obama couldn't bring himself to exhibit that kind of moral clarity. Legislation at the federal level passed the United States Senate 98-0, including with the support of Hillary Clinton and Ted Kennedy at the federal level. Obama couldn't do it at the state level. That's how beholden to the NARALs of the world that run around criticizing Doritos Super Bowl ads.
I know, but why would he avoid taking a stand on that issue? I mean, why vote present on that issue?
He is God.
What had possessed him?
He gets to decide who lives and dies. He's God. There's no God. Of course. And, of course, he needed, as looking towards higher office, as Charlotte was referencing, he needed
he didn't want
the crazy left, the pro-abort left. That's what he needed.
The women's votes.
Needed their blood money and and by the way, that's not the women's vote because there's a lot of women who happen to be pro-life.
True.
Right.
But...
So that's a little bit of a nice generalization for the left, but it turns out not to be true. Speaking of possessed, though.
Oh, yeah.
Amy, this was an interesting...
it's my favorite story of the day because you know how I feel about Ted Cruz. I think he's a little too... What's the word I'm looking for? A little smug, but he's a little folksy, and he talks about religion. He feels like too preachery for me.
Sometimes he's a bit oleaginous. Is that the word you were looking for?
You know what? I love that word, oleaginous. Common spelling, oleaginous.
Yeah, just like it sounds.
Yes.
A couple of instigators came to a Ted Cruz rally on Monday and suggested that Ted Cruz may need to have an exorcism performed on him because he's possessed by a demon. Ted Cruz, look in the mirror and let the evil spirit depart, one man exclaimed.
And they were carrying a mirror and a cross and some cloves of garlic. And they entered this rally. It wasn't really a rally. He was in it was a rally of folks, but they were inside a restaurant.
Right.
They decided, they wouldn't give the reporters their names. They wanted to remain anonymous. But they did perform an exorcism. And we have exclusively for you here on AM 560 The Answer, the exorcism.
And it would leak. I'm sorry, but I hear. Is an alarm gonna sound if we go out here? We don't want an alarm to sound. We're gonna open the door. Is there a waiter we can ask?
I think the alarm will sound, but I think it's worth it.
It's worth it? We have to.
Do it for the theater.
Yeah.
They were standing by the door, performed the exorcism, became so overcome with emotion and sickness that they were trying to get out the door when they just wanted to make sure the alarm didn't sound.
They spit up their pea soup. So it was a funny kind of way to heckle. Although Ted Cruz, quick on his feet, took it in good humor. Yeah. He noted the interruption was an odd thing because usually lefties don't believe in God.
Hey-o.
Nicely done, Senator.
I can't take this much longer. I gotta have a beer.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Winter weather is here, and this season's roller coaster ride and temperatures can be especially taxing on your business's mechanical HVAC system. That's why it's important to schedule a comprehensive review of your system today with Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading mechanical professionals. For more than 80 years, Air Comfort has maintained hundreds of businesses' HVAC systems throughout Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. Why do they trust their mechanical systems to Air Comfort? It's simple. Because they understand that Air Comfort has the best trained and highly skilled team of award-winning technicians. That's why Air Comfort is recognized as an MSCA Star Contractor, a designation achieved by only 2% of contractors nationwide. With a large service fleet of more than 80 fully equipped vehicles, chances are that an Air Comfort technician is nearby. Schedule your system check by calling now, 708-345-1900, or online at aircomfort.com.
Guys, Valentine's Day is here. Your sweetheart already loves you, so don't mess this up. Send a sampler pack from Vermont Brownie Company and be a Valentine's Day hero. Here's what you do. Go to vermontbrownie.com right now, unless you're driving. So stop and go to vermontbrownie.com right now. Order a Valentine's Day sampler, complete with a free personalized gift card, and get 6 more brownies for 50% off. It doesn't get any easier than this, but you have to order today because time is running out. Valentine's Day is Sunday. So no need to ditch the flowers. Just get brownies, too. Your Valentine will be bragging to her friends for days. Yes, that's what women do. This is a sure thing, guaranteed to make love delicious. Well, wait, hello. Keep things interesting this Valentine's Day. Go to vermontbrownie.com. Wow. For your 50% off savings. Delivery is guaranteed. Hurry, because this offer ends soon.
The Ted Cruz hecklers, they were funny, but also the Marco Rubio, the Rubio Talking Points 3000 robots that were following him around. Those are pretty funny, too. You got to give it to creative hecklers, even if it's for your guy.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
State Representative Margot McDermot, Republican from Mokina, joins us to preview the president's speech in Springfield this afternoon.
And later, Cam Newton, he's not a loser. He just doesn't like to lose. We'll explain. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 10 degrees above. Winds out of the north at 12 right now. That is giving us a wind chill of 6 below zero. Winners of the New Hampshire primary, Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump. The Vermont Senator Sanders easily defeating former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
Our volunteers worked night and day, made phone calls, and knocked on a heck of a lot of doors. And we won because of your energy. Thank you all.
Democrat presidential candidate Hillary Clinton says, in spite of her loss, she'll continue fighting.
Now we take this campaign to the entire country. We're going to fight for every vote in every state. We're going to fight for real solutions that make a real difference in people's lives.
On the Republican side, Donald Trump, a strong lead and a first victory.
We have some real talent in the Republican Party, and the RNC and Reince, we want to thank everybody. Thank you very much.
Trump crediting his campaign manager for those efforts in the New Hampshire win, where John Kasich finished second.
I want to congratulate Donald Trump tonight on his victory. But oh, no. He won fair and square, but I beat him in Dixville Notch, okay?
Exit polling this morning showing that Trump won the Republican vote among many different demographics, men and women, in New Hampshire. The budget President Obama sent to Congress yesterday provides about $19 billion for NASA in the new fiscal year. It sounds like a lot, but it's less than the current budget. French authorities say they've made contact with 7 cave explorers trapped in a cave in the Pyrenees, and that all will be brought out in the coming hours. They were trapped overnight because of severe flooding. Today, President Obama returns to the Illinois capital of Springfield to address the Illinois General Assembly. Chicago police say 16 have been charged with operating a fake ticket ring. They made up to $60,000 per event, selling the fake tickets for events at Soldier Field and the United Center. And an Illinois lawmaker wants to criminalize recording fights in order to post them online. Representative Terry Bryant says she was disturbed by a video of an altercation between 2 boys from her hometown in Murfreesboro that was posted on Facebook. The Republican lawmaker says she wants to show that staging fights or being a willing bystander is unacceptable. Concerns about free speech and over-criminalizing teens have hindered lawmakers around the country who've tried similar crackdowns on cyber bullies. Jimmy Butler sidelined 3 to 4 weeks with a strained knee. San Jose beat the Blackhawks 2-0. The news, a service of Fix Auto Collision Centers. Crash your car? You've got a friend in the business with Fix Auto Collision Centers. With locations throughout Chicago, call Fix Auto Collision Centers today. 800-INFO-FIX, 800-INFO-FIX. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Each year, the month of March is all about the madness.
He's a whack job. He's a wacko.
This year, as the number of candidates dwindles and the delegate count climbs, the remaining candidates will meet for one final debate. On March 10th, and AM 560 is hosting the final debate watch party of the primary season. On Thursday, March 10th at Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville. Tickets are just $25 and include an all-you-can-eat buffet. Visit 560theanswer.com/March. That's 560theanswer.com/March. Sponsored in part by DS Arms.
Cornerstone National Bank believes trust, service, and relationship is the foundation of a business banking partnership. Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company, where you belong. Visit cornerstonenb.com. Member FDIC.
Valentine's Day is this week, and Pro Flowers is offering an amazing deal. 2 dozen assorted roses plus a free glass vase for just $29.99. Go to proflowers.com, click on the microphone in the right corner, and enter code 1515. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. Imagine her delight when 2 dozen gorgeous assorted roses arrive. And for such an amazing price, it's a win-win. Order now from Pro Flowers. You pick the delivery date and it's guaranteed. 2 dozen stunning assorted roses, guaranteed to stay fresh and beautiful for at least 7 days for $29.99. And we'll include a vase for free. Fresh flowers, guaranteed delivery, and add-ons to complete your gift. Pro Flowers has everything you need to win Valentine's Day. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing Valentine's Day deal is to visit proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 1515. That's proflowers.com. Secret code 1515.
637 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Let's get the very latest with Jim Talamonte.
Like in Hoffman Estates, Gulf Road is closed between Rorson and 59 due to a crash. Eastbound Adams Tollway jammed, bussy to Lee with a collision blocking 2 left lanes. The inbound Kennedy, about 24 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. Eden's 25 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 19. Eisenhower, 36 minutes. Thorndale to the loop, outbound 31. Stevenson, 41 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 21 minutes from I-80 to the merge. Lakeshore Drive northbound, jammed Chicago Avenue to the Oak Street curve. Crash there in the 3 left lanes. Traffic is a service of WesternUnion.com's mobile app. You might be stuck in traffic, but your money shouldn't be. Send money around the world 24/7 with the Western Union mobile app. Download the app and send your money fast. Next time you need to send money quickly, get out of a jam and tap the Western Union app. It's money. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. AirComfort.com, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Partly sunny, bitterly cold today. High 18, and even colder overnight with a low of 8 above. 10 above right now at O'Hare. Next news 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Theramind. Successful drug-free treatment for depression. Insurance accepted. Go to tmsmind.com.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so President Obama in Springfield today to lecture us about honest budgets. That's a hoot. His last budget, the combination of massive tax increases and more government spending, the Chicago Democrat way we've come to know and suffer under here. Also, by his own numbers, the president's numbers, federal debt will reach $14 trillion this year, $8.3 trillion more than it was at the end of fiscal year 2008. So under his leadership,
regime,
more than doubled, up 133% federal debt. So, for those leftists who claim to be fiscal conservatives, I'm a fiscal conservative because everybody's a fiscal conservative. It's amazing to me how many fiscal conservatives we have in both parties, and yet in Illinois, we're the worst governed state in the nation, lowest credit rating, highest unfunded liabilities. And at the federal level, we continue to pile up debt and unfunded liabilities as well. But these fiscal conservatives are killing us with their fiscal conservatism, at least as they define it.
I mean, think about our school districts broke, counties broke, cities broke, states broke.
Fiscal conservatives,
broke, yeah.
every single one of them. Well, nobody's a fiscal liberal.
No.
Who runs saying, you know what, tax and spend, that's me, baby. Spend, spend, spend. If we don't got it, I'm going to spend it anyway. Who says that?
Don't you think his
but that's
last
what they
year
do.
in office, he's going to try and spend?
Well, that's what he's doing. His budget for this fiscal year, I don't think he's going to get into the details of this because, math is hard, especially for most of the legislators in Springfield. $2.7 trillion tax increase over 10 years. That's the last budget from the president. That tax hikes total $1.2 trillion over the next decade for Obamacare. And he's got all kinds of spending gambits too, such that federal government spending as a percentage of GDP, the post-war average has been about 17%. By 2025, if you project out a decade, President Obama's spending levels, that will reach 20% federal spending as a percentage of GDP. 3 percentage points, that's a big number when you're talking about $4 trillion, $5 trillion annual budgets. So that's the president's model for success nationally.
And he's taking it here to Illinois today at 1:30 p.m.
It came from here. He took it to Washington. Now he's bringing it back. It's the circle of life, Simba. For more on what's anticipated from the president down in Springfield this afternoon, we're now joined by State Representative Margot McDermot. She is a freshman legislator from Mokina. Representative McDermott, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's good to be here.
So you came from the private sector. You were a corporate counsel for a major Fortune 500 company prior to deciding you wanted to punish yourself by going to the General Assembly. What has it been like in your first stint here, your first term there, and what do you anticipate from the president today?
Being here is a real eye-opener. I have to agree with what you say about my colleagues across the aisle. I feel like they're living in an entirely different state than I'm living in, one where the spending doesn't matter. The intention is all that matters. Helping fill in the blank, whatever group it is that they're speaking about that day, is more important than any result of that legislation. And we all know what the results are.
So bringing in President... Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, we're last in everything where we should be first, and first in everything where we should be last. So
it's a good way to sum it.
So President Obama, him coming, do you feel as if he's going to be vilifying Republicans even more than state lawmakers already are doing?
That's going to be interesting. Now, he says he's coming to try to talk about being our better selves, our better political selves. So vilifying Republicans doesn't sound like that's part of the agenda, but it certainly wouldn't be something unusual for him.
What's the scuttlebutt down there in terms of his visit? Everybody will want to take pictures and selfies and all that and post it on their Facebook pages, and it'll all be fun. But is the sense you get from your colleagues on both sides of the aisle that this is pomp and circumstance, it's a big event, it's a historic event, but as soon as he leaves, we're going to get right back to where we were before he came?
Exactly. People feel like it's part of a nostalgia tour and part of setting the legacy, and not necessarily any ability or even intention of trying to solve the Illinois logjam.
Is there any sense that part of his visit is to provide political cover for Rahm, perhaps for Cullerton, who may be more amenable to dealing with Governor Rauner than is Speaker Madigan?
The primary is March 15th. The timing of his arrival is not a coincidence. People are going to need the pictures.
Oh, so you think this is in part a campaign stop, and this is about using President Obama's popularity in certain circles to help Mike Madigan's candidates, to help John Cullerton's candidates who have primaries?
Absolutely.
All right, now he's going to be delivering a speech in front of the House chamber at 1:30 this afternoon. Did they give you any information about what time you have to be there, and can you bring anyone as a guest?
We got several memos, one after the other. They're closing the Capitol at 7:30 and reopening it at 10:15. They want the reps to be in line and ready to come in at 10:15. We need to be in the chamber by 11. And then we're going to go into session and hang out until the president gets there. And there will be some guests allowed.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Same drill for them. And everyone needs to go through security. Reps usually breeze by security with our IDs, but today we're all going through the security and having all our bags checked.
Yeah, well, that's probably a good policy. There's a lot of shifty reps down there.
Yeah.
Like
these guys.
Err on the side of safety. Any way they could, perhaps, you could push for them to close the Capitol permanently, so that no more business can be conducted there.
It would save a lot of money, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, on some of the issues that are pressing before the General Assembly right now. Chicago Public Schools, the Wall Street Journal opined on that today, suggesting that Rahm is still a school reformer at heart. I don't know what the Wall Street Journal has been paying attention to for the last 5 years, and that he and Rauner can still come to a deal on more money for the Chicago Public Schools in exchange for either reforms or state takeover of that school system or other structural reforms of state government. Do you see that in the offing at all?
I think we're all hoping that something will force the impasse to break, whether it's a crisis at Chicago Public Schools or something else. It will take, I think, a very significant event to break the logjam at this point.
And by a significant event, you mean like a great new idea, a well-attended beer summit. You mean something bad, like a crisis that will force people to act in a way they are not otherwise inclined to act.
Correct. I mean something like an asteroid hitting the state. It's got to be
severe. Wow.
That would make the news.
I was going to go to like school closings. I didn't know it had to be intergalactic.
Off, yeah.
Yes.
I think it's going to take intergalactic. I really do.
And on the issue of schools, just sticking there too. What's the appetite in Springfield, especially you being a suburban legislator, for more money for schools? If there's any chance that more money for Chicago schools is going to come at the expense of suburban or even downstate schools?
That's never going to happen with our votes. It's anyone who represents a suburban district knows how property tax poor we are and how absolutely adamant our citizens are that they're not sending another nickel of their hard-earned money to that broken system called Chicago Public Schools. People would, I can't even tell you the level of fury that my constituents would have if something like that happened.
Yeah.
And they can count on me to never be a vote for that. And my suburban colleagues are with me. We all agree with that position. We were discussing it yesterday. Not going to happen.
On both sides of the aisle, suburban colleagues on both sides of the aisle.
I'm speaking of Republicans here.
Okay.
I think any suburban representative on the other side of the aisle, if once they voted for that, they better not go home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, look at you.
She is
and the hyperbole. I love it.
Well, I don't know if that's hyperbole these days. She is State Representative Margot McDermot, freshman Republican state legislator from Mokina. Representative McDermott, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the speech today.
Looking forward to it.
And I love thanks. And Josh Ernst described this as a fun visit to Springfield. This is going to be fun.
As if there is such a thing.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, partly sunny, bitterly cold, a high of 18 degrees. Tonight into the single digits again. And then tomorrow, not much better, mostly sunny. Very cold, a high of 21 degrees. Numbers on the roadways. How's the inbound Kennedy, Jim Telemonte?
Maybe it's not too bad right now. Maybe even a little lighter than usual because of the backups on the eastbound Adams Tollway. More of that in a second. Kennedy has slow traffic, Canfield to Central and Addison into the Loop area. 28 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 27. The Edens is 30 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Eisenhower, 46 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 33. Stevenson, running 42 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound fine. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Now for that Adams Tollway eastbound, it's stop and go 31 to the Fox River Bridge after a stall. Then Roselle to 53, and it's a complete mess from Arlington Heights Road to Lee with a crash in the two left lanes. Then there's a crash at Elmhurst Road blocking two left lanes as well. Northbound Tri-State slow 47th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Lakeshore Drive northbound jammed. Chicago Avenue to the Oak Street curve. Collision there has three left lanes blocked. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Janet Yellen heads to Capitol Hill. Coca-Cola sales on the rise globally, and now you can sing Happy Birthday without paying for it. Those stories next.
Tax problems? They only get worse if you don't do anything. Are you an individual or business that owes at least $10,000 in back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns? Don't risk garnishments or levies on your wages, bank accounts, or accounts receivable. Call Rapid Resolution Tax Group now. They're Better Business Bureau A+ rated and accredited. Tax attorneys, enrolled agents, tax professionals, and they guarantee same-day contact with the IRS. No tax problem is too big. They've helped many people just like you with their tax problems. Pick up the phone and call 800-601-2929 now. If you qualify, Rapid Resolution Tax Group can settle your tax debt for less, remove penalties and fees, stop garnishments and levies. You may even qualify for the IRS Fresh Start Initiative. You do have rights as an American. Don't let your tax problems get worse. Call Rapid Resolution Tax Group for a free consultation at 800-601-2929. That's 800-601-2929. Call now.
Investors today paying a lot of attention to Fed Chair Janet Yellen. She's testifying before Congress today. Investors looking for any indication on the direction of interest rates. Coca-Cola's sales up 2% in the fourth quarter. Diet Coke sales fell, but that was offset by more men drinking Coke Zero, a diet drink that is marketed to men. Federal transportation officials may soon be looking into a cruise liner that this weekend ran into rough seas in the Atlantic. Senator Bill Nelson of Florida calling on the NTSB to tighten regulations on cruise ship operators. Music publisher Warner Chappell is returning $14 million of fees to settle a lawsuit that challenged its claim to royalties for the song Happy Birthday. Last year, a federal court ruled the firm didn't own the lyrics. Happy birthday, everybody, and join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Treat yourself to a great night's sleep. Treat yourself to a MyPillow. There are many of you who have procrastinated, but don't put it off any longer. MyPillow is a premium pillow with 4 different loft levels. Have you heard? That's customized to your individual preference. And for my listeners who use the promo code Amy, guess what? You'll get 2 pillows for the price of 1. It's MyPillow's best offer, and it's so important, as you know, to get a great night's sleep. You'll wake up feeling refreshed, rejuvenated. MyPillow helps with snoring, headaches, neck pain, insomnia, and allergies. Plus, it's washable, and it keeps its shape to give you support where you need it most. That's why it's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. For this 2 for the price of 1 offer, visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy. Do it now, 800-489-0201, or online at MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy. That's 800-489-0201.
Everywhere you go, the threat looms. It follows you no matter what you do. The longer you avoid the IRS and the financial difficulties you're going through, the closer they get to you. John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm can help you end the feeling of being hunted by the IRS. If you've avoided taxes or could benefit from the life-saving assistance of bankruptcy, it's time you call John DeWatt. This is an attorney who is willing to take on the federal government on your behalf. He has worked to discharge thousands of dollars in penalties, and he can help you settle your debts once and for all. Call 888-777-4193. Let the hunters become the hunted. Let John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm. Deal with the IRS personally. Call John for your own relief plan. 888-777-4193 or online at thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com. That's thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, it's not just Hillary Clinton. It's not just Marco Rubio that are having to deal with loss this week. It's also Cam Newton, and he hasn't been dealing with it particularly well. He gave the hoodie press conference.
Yeah, got up and walked away. He didn't like some of the questions. He had enough. He answered the question. They keep repeating it, almost as if they're badgering him, and he got up and left.
Yeah, and here's him explaining how he's reacted after that awful performance in the Super Bowl.
I'm human. I've never once said that I was perfect. I never proclaimed that I was perfect. But at the end of the day, people pick and they do things of that sort. And that the truth of the matter is, who are you to say that your way is right? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, we got all these people that's condemning and saying, oh man, he should have did this, that, and the third. But what makes your way right? I've been on record to say I'm a sore loser. Who likes to lose? You show me a good loser, and I'm gonna show you a loser. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to. It's not a popularity contest.
Yeah, if you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah, right, and other cliches. I love sports cliches. So I don't know. Maybe some folks from New Hampshire who didn't meet expectations could take a page out of Cam's book and be a little bit more strident rather than kind of trying to put a happy face on underperforming.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So John Kasich, though, when he was doing that, I'm number 2 and so happy, he shouldn't have been so happy because he wasn't number 1.
He should have worn a hoodie.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 32-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. With me today is one heck of a great service partner.
Thanks, Tom. Hi, I'm Andrea Kashaba, owner of Tulane & Associates Accounting and Tax Services here in Elk Grove, servicing small businesses since 1986. I heard Precision Payroll ads years ago. I called on behalf of one of my clients. Tom came out, met with us. Since then, we've added 6 more clients and absolutely love working with Tom and Precision Payroll. As an accounting professional, I love having the connection with Precision Payroll as it makes serving my clients even easier.
Andrea, thanks for coming in and sharing our success story. You are awesome and a joy to work with. If you want to partner with us or work with us, call me directly at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or on the web at precisionpayroll.com.
You know why I like Cam Newton? Because his son's name is Chosen. He's a chosen Newton. That's not conceited or anything.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, maybe you can't stop time, but the bags and puffiness under your eyes don't need to be there. And now, thanks to Genucell, you can definitely get rid of them. The new Genucell plant stem cell therapy, it's taken from a Swiss apple, for bags and puffiness under the eyes from our good friends at Chamonix is doing just that for men and women all across this great country of ours. Why wait? Order it now and see the difference. In fact, with its instant effects, which is a separate product, you'll see results in as little as 12 hours or your money back guaranteed. So order Genucell right now and you'll get the legendary Esotique face cream absolutely free with your order. 800-525-8323. That's 800-525-8323. 800-525-8323.
Hey, protecting your family and Second Amendment rights is important. You need the proper equipment and training from DS Arms. As an actual manufacturer of AR-15 and FNFAL-type rifles, they also stock all major brands of firearms, including handguns and every accessory imaginable for self-defense, target shooting, and hunting. Ladies, get your concealed carry license plus basic and advanced training in a family-friendly environment with girlfriends, loved ones, even mom. Everything's provided, including a firearm for only $225. For custom rifles made in America or concealed carry firearms training classes, make DS Arms your team. It's great being an American and supporting your Second Amendment rights and American manufacturing jobs. With nearly 3 decades of experience, DS Arms has you covered. DS Arms, much more than a gun store. It's easy to reach in Lake Barrington, just off of Route 14 and Pepper Road. Call 847-277-7260 or visit dsarms.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Can the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pantsuit recover by South Carolina? We'll ask the editor of The Blaze.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a family dead in a murder-suicide. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Dave Anthony.
Thank you, New Hampshire.
Bernie Sanders easily beat Hillary Clinton while in the Republican primary. Donald Trump won big. John Kasich surged, and Chris Christie is reevaluating what's next after a distant finish. Fox's Tanya J. Powers live in Manchester.
Donald Trump says he'll put a stop to politicians he claims make deals in their own interests.
We are now going to make it for your benefit. We're going to make the deals for the American people. That's the way it is.
John Kasich rallied voters who put him in second place.
There's so much going to happen. If you don't have a seatbelt, go get one. We're going to shake this country from top to bottom. Thank you all very much.
And Ted Cruz behind Kasich.
A conservative, we were told, could not do well in the state of New Hampshire.
Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio rounding out the top 5 on the GOP side. What happened with the Democrats last night? Fox's Rachel Sutherland was at Bernie Sanders' headquarters, and she has more.
Tanya, in his victory speech last night in Concord, Sanders called for income equality, universal health care, and raising the minimum wage.
Thank you, New Hampshire. And now it's on to Nevada, South Carolina, and beyond.
Clinton called Sanders to congratulate him and admitted in her concession speech she has more work to do reaching young people who have flocked to Sanders.
Even if they are not supporting me now, I support them.
The two will debate tomorrow night. The next Democratic contest is the Nevada caucus, a week from Saturday. Dave?
Rachel, the next Republican votes will be cast that same day, February 20th, in a different state, South Carolina's primary. It's nice to keep paying less at the gas pump, right? Well, the Energy Department says get used to it. As oil remains cheap, the price of regular gas may average less than $2 a gallon for all of this year. That hasn't happened since 2004. AAA's average is a little over $1.70 a gallon now. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Some clouds, 10 degrees above as sunrise hits Chicago. Winds out of the north at 12. It's a bitter cold, 5 below on your skin this morning. Today, President Barack Obama returns to the Illinois capital of Springfield. 9 years to the day after he stood before the old state capitol announcing his run for president, he will address privately the Illinois General Assembly. An electrical fire is blamed for causing delays on Metra's Union Pacific West line this morning. Officials say the blaze broke out yesterday in Melrose Park. Flames resulted in switch and signal problems. Normal service resumed, but some trains are moving more slowly than others this morning. Oak Forest detectives say financial problems may have led to the deaths of 3 family members in a murder-suicide.
David Joost had just lost his employment in Orland Park, and there's evidence that they were struggling financially.
Police Chief Gregory Anderson. Chicago police and the FBI say they've cut off a major source of money for street gangs, the sale of fake sports and concert tickets. AM 560's David Stewart with the update.
For 14 months, police and the FBI have been tracking the gang's sales of high-quality fake tickets for the Sox, Cubs, Bulls, Hawks, or most concert venues. A tip from a fake ticket victim sparked a raid that netted 8 arrests and started a manhunt for 8 other people. Police organized crime chief Anthony Riccio says gangs use ticket sales to fund their operations.
They use them to purchase weapons. They use them for bond. When gang members are arrested, they use them to pay attorney fees. So pretty much any operation of the street gang is being financed by these ticket sales.
Riccio says the gangs could make up to $60,000 per event with fake tickets. David Stewart, Chicago.
Northwest Suburban Police are searching for a missing father of 2. Tim Anderson was last seen leaving his Arlington Heights home on Monday. His car found near the Barrington Riding Center. Bulls All-Star Jimmy Butler sidelined for up to 4 weeks with a strained knee. Sharks and the Blackhawks 3-game winning streak with a 2-0 win. The news service of Fix Auto Collision Centers. You have a friend in the business if you've crashed your car. With Fix Auto Collision Centers, locations throughout Chicago. Call Fix Auto Collision Centers today, 800-INFO-FIX, 800-INFO-FIX. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
In New Hampshire, it was Donald Trump who came out on top.
We are going to make America so great again, maybe greater than ever before.
Now, the race turns to South Carolina.
Because I'm coming back.
What happens next on the campaign trail
We'll see you in a few weeks. We're going to come and win.
happens here.
We're going to fight for real solutions that make a real difference in people's lives.
This is your election station, AM 560.
Thank you, New Hampshire.
The Answer.
Have you been getting the runaround on a mortgage modification application? Underwater with your mortgage? Well, you'd be not alone. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of other people in the same boat with you. My name's Lou Bridges. My partner Scott O and I put together a law firm. One of the things we do is help people with modifications, only we don't just submit an application. Through proprietary software that we have access to, we determine what program or programs your loan is eligible for and what it would take to qualify you for those programs under the regulations. We work with our team of people, paralegals and clerks, and we put together everything, and then we submit the application for modification to the servicing bank. Only then we're not asking them, we're telling them this is the modification program our client has chosen from among those that we have confirmed they qualify for, their loan is eligible for under the regulations that you will give. And you must give because the net present value is far greater for the owner of the mortgage. So servicer, thank you for the modification. No more runarounds. Give us a call. We'll give you a free consultation.
224-513-1231.
Uber is an app that helps you make extra money just for driving your car. And because it's totally flexible, you don't have to quit your day job to make more money because you can drive and earn whenever you want. There are 3 simple steps to start making money. First, sign up for free on your phone. Second, answer a few questions and get approved. And third, start driving. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up today at drivewithuber.com. That's drivewithuber.com.
Hansel and Gretel left bread can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. Plans start at $9.99 a month. Go to LifeLock.com and get 10% off with promo code NEWS.
7:06 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. At Hoffman Estates, Gulf Road remains closed between Rorson and 59 due to a crash. Eden's inbound 30 minutes, like Cook to Montrose outbound 21. The Kennedy now 30 minutes, O'Hare to downtown a little slower in the Express, outbound 28 minutes. The Eisenhower 46 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 33. Stevenson 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound fine. Ryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown, northbound Tri-State. Stop and go from the Stevenson to 47th and the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway slow Beverly to 59, Roselle to 53, then jammed Arlington Heights Road to Lee after a crash. Reagan Tollway looking good, Veterans Memorial as well. The eastbound Indiana Toll Road is closed in LaPorte County from US 35 to before State Road 39 due to a crash involving 2 jackknife semis. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center, aircomfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's media.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
We are going to make America great again.
The light overcame the darkness of negative campaigning. And you made it happen.
I did not do well on Saturday night, so listen to this. That will never happen again.
And we've learned it's not whether you get knocked down that matters, it's whether you get back up.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So a couple of blowouts in New Hampshire last night. Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump.
Yeah, 2 old white men winning big landslide victories. Who knew?
Yeah, and on the Democrat side, you'll recall that this admonition was thrown down on the eve of yesterday's election.
I'm human.
No, not that one.
But he is human.
Cam Newton threw down that as well.
he
did. Yeah.
We can tell our story about how we climbed the ladder, and a lot of you younger women don't think you have to. It's been done. It's not done, and you have to help. Hillary Clinton will always be there for you, and just remember, there's a special place in hell for women who don't help each other.
That is nonsense. That was also Cam Newton. And I think what he was trying to say is, you have to have the Cackle Caucus constitute itself around Hillary Clinton. Unfortunately, there is a good percentage of 138,000 New Hampshire Democrat primary voters who have now been cast into hell by Madeleine Albright.
Yeah, among 18 to 29-year-olds, Bernie Sanders received 83% of the vote, Hillary only 16%, and Martin O'Malley, not even in the race, received 1%.
It's so terrible. I mean, I feel many of those young women in that demographic you just described, they have their whole lives ahead of them. And now they are destined for the flames of the netherworld, destined for a trip down to the River Styx because they didn't support Hillary Clinton. How is the gender card working for Hillary Clinton? Will the race card work any better as the campaign moves to South Carolina? Why don't we get some expert insight on what happened in New England from Lee Munsell, who's the political editor at The Blaze. She has spent the last several days in New Hampshire.
And she's on a bus right now.
And she joins us now. Hi, Lee. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So on the Democrat side, let's start there. It's less complicated. What is?
They're both complicated.
Well, yeah. This one. I mean, it's only complicated if Bernie Sanders can transition from Iowa and New Hampshire into states with a bigger minority populations in terms of the Democrat primary electorate. And so the question is, do we have any indication at this point that is possible, or does Hillary Clinton brush this off and go on to easy victories as we move south?
Well, it's certainly possible. He would have to kind of build on the momentum that he's gained through a really close Iowa finish and then now a blowout in New Hampshire to actually kind of transition that to other states. But you're right, she's polling a lot higher than he is in South Carolina and really across the country. There's a reason she's the presumed, front runner. It's because she has really strong support and a really strong ground game and network throughout the rest of the country. And so we'll see as we move on to Nevada, South Carolina, and then into Super Tuesday whether she can, start winning states and start winning states big.
But how can she change her message to rev up young voters to support her?
Well, it's really been interesting, her response to the support that Bernie Sanders is getting from young voters. Her kind of go-to line on the campaign trail and even in her speeches has been, to young voters, even if you don't support me now, I support you. The kind of presumed message in that is that, I'm going to be your nominee, so eventually you're going to get on board. So it's kind of interesting. She hasn't really written those voters off, but also it's looking like she's going to have a hard time picking up the kind of levels of support that Bernie Sanders is getting among young voters. So that's really not her strong area right now.
Yeah, that I still support you, Grandma. You're embarrassing us. Here's, it seems to me, an opportunity for Bernie Sanders to make the kind of gains he needs to make in states like South Carolina. Some exit polling from New Hampshire yesterday finds 90% of people, the voters, think the big banks, the corporate power structure has too much power at their expense. And Hillary has this problem of being seen as a corporatist. She has this problem that Bernie Sanders has actually prosecuted, one of the few lines of prosecution he has pursued, Goldman Sachs speeches. And the Goldman Sachs speeches starting to dog her a little bit. Politico reporting that they spoke with an attendee to an October 2013 Goldman Sachs event at which Hillary spoke for the tune of $225,000. And that attendee said, it's so far from what she sounds like as a candidate now. It was like a rah-rah speech. She sounded more like a Goldman Sachs managing director. Is that an area Bernie Sanders can pound away on and build on the momentum he has coming out of New Hampshire across racial demographics.
Yeah, absolutely. The people who are really concerned and voters who are really concerned about the economy are really gravitating to Bernie Sanders right now. That's been his key message on the trail. He's been talking about this for, at length about Wall Street inequality and all of that. So certainly that's an important message. And the Goldman Sachs issue has been following her around, and it came up in the debate the other week, and she really didn't have a very good answer for it. She was asked if she would be willing to release the text of those speeches, and she really didn't agree to that. It's not necessarily that she has to, but if it keeps coming up, it may keep being a problem for her.
Well, the big news last night, of course, Governor Kasich, winning second place, because second's the new first place there for certain people. But and we know that, retail politics, he did a great job in New Hampshire, going to 100 town hall meetings and, just going into diners and meeting people face to face. But does he have any sort of ground game at all in South Carolina?
Yeah, well, that strategy works well in New Hampshire, but Kasich will have a lot harder time in South Carolina actually shaking, every voter's hand. You have to kind of have a different messaging strategy. So he may have a hard time doing well in future states. The question is, again, whether momentum from early states kind of pushes you into a level of the spotlight that you wouldn't have otherwise reached. I have a hard time believing that would happen for Kasich, but it's possible that he would pick up more widespread support based on his New Hampshire finish.
We're talking to Lee Munsell. She's the political editor at The Blaze, theblaze.com. And Lee, best of all worlds for Trump yesterday, not just a comfortable victory, but the Kasich second place finish we're just discussing, because it and frankly, the Jeb, respectable fourth place finish. It keeps everybody in. It keeps the race a bit muddled, probably at least through Super Tuesday. And doesn't that benefit Donald Trump?
Yeah, Donald Trump had about the best night he could have last night, winning by a huge margin. Got more than twice the percentage of votes that John Kasich did, and that really the next people on the list are Jeb Bush, Ted Cruz, and then Margot Rubio, but all of them were a good chunk below Kasich at about the 11% mark. So if either Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio or even Jeb Bush was hoping to emerge as kind of the clear Donald Trump alternative, they didn't do that last night. However, all of them had fairly strong finishes. Marco Rubio certainly did less well than expected, but Ted Cruz did fairly well in New Hampshire. The question is, again, whether that will translate to enough of a boost to be competitive in South Carolina. And Donald Trump is polling really well in South Carolina and really across the Tuesday states in the rest of the country. And so there's still a lot of race left to go, and there's no clear, candidate to challenge Trump at this point, because you still have Rubio, Bush, Cruz, and all the rest of them battling it out.
Now, we're hearing rumblings this morning that Governor Chris Christie may be calling it quits today. What are your sources telling you?
The fat lady has sung for Chris Christie.
Hey.
We got to get these all done now.
Right,
this is probably his last day.
He had a bad day on Fat Tuesday.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he had a very disappointing finish last night in New Hampshire. He was saying, he even spent more time in New Hampshire than John Kasich did more events there, and really just staked a lot of his hopes in this presidential campaign in New Hampshire. And so whenever you spend that much time, money, effort in a state and then don't do well in that state, it tends to be a pretty clear indication that you need to step out of the race. But we'll see what he ends up doing. But yes, he had said earlier this week that he planned to catch a flight to South Carolina first thing Wednesday morning. And last night he came out and told his supporters that he was headed straight back to New Jersey, going to listen to see what the rest of the results were, and then kind of make a decision from there. That's usually the first indicator of whether someone's going to plan to spend their campaign. But he could still end up deciding it's worth it. But it was a very disappointing finish in New Hampshire for Chris Christie.
All right. She is Lee Munsell, the political editor at The Blaze, theblaze.com. Lee, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And I think we should compliment Carly Fiorina. She did beat Ben Carson last night.
Okay. It just happened then. You just complimented her.
And Lee joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Ben Carson said if he finishes third in South Carolina, he'll stay in the race.
He also said he's open to being Donald Trump's vice president. So
Yes.
I think he's reevaluating his options.
He's, reinventing himself. Today, the weather, it's going to be a string of cold days, so there's no reinventions here. Partly sunny, cold, a high of 18. Same for tomorrow and on Friday. It's going to be breezy, but a little bit warmer, a high of 26. Let's get the travel times. How's northbound Lakeshore Drive doing? Here's Jim Telemonte with the answer.
Thanks, Amy. The northbound side has cleared up. There was an earlier crash near the Oak Street curve, so it's looking good there, though it's heavy southbound Belmont to Fullerton. And on the south side, it's a little heavy now northbound through Grant Park approaching Jackson. Nothing too bad yet, though. The Edens inbound delays start at 2:08. 27 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, now 38 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. The Eisenhower is 53 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 33. Stevenson, 49 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound fine. Ryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 26 minutes, I-80 to the Murray, Bishop Ford 30. Eastbound Adams Tollway, stop and go Barrington Road to 53, then jammed Arlington Heights Road to Elmhurst Road. Earlier crash near Lee is gone, but the crash at Elmhurst Road has 2 left lanes blocked. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, then you need to do what Amy did when she purchased a home, and that's called David Hochberg at Pearl Mortgage. Don and his father love David's commercials. They religiously listen to his radio show and enjoy when he answers listeners' questions on the radio. So when they both purchased homes and needed a mortgage, they naturally called David. Wrong. Don used his father-in-law's mortgage guy, and his father used the supposed mortgage expert at his local bank. Bad move. After getting terrible and misleading advice from both their lenders, they called David, which, of course, they should have done in the first place. David answered their questions, gave them accurate information that their current lenders didn't give them, and is now helping both of them secure mortgages on their new homes. How many of these ads do you have to hear to be a believer that David is your guy? If you're purchasing a home and want to work with an honest lender that will always look out for your financial interests, do what Amy did. Call David, 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. You can also visit am560david.com, that website, am560david.com. David's helped Amy and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. So call David, 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA NMLS 19186, pearlmortgage.com/licensing.
Hey, this is Joe Walsh, excited to tell you about Chicagoland's finest gun shop and indoor shooting range. I'm talking about Maxson Shooters Supplies and Indoor Range, just north of O'Hare in Des Plaines. Maxson is Chicagoland's first NSSF 5-star facility and one of only 70 nationwide. Hey, protecting your family and Second Amendment rights are real important. That's why Maxson Shooters Supplies is focused on safety, proficiency, education, and takes real pride in providing the area's highest quality facility to hone your skills on one of their 20 handgun, rifle, and shotgun stations. Maxson has the classes you need, including Illinois Concealed Carry and 2 on-staff gunsmiths for all your repair and customization needs. Maxson is easy to reach in Des Plaines, just off of I-90 and Mount Prospect Road. For information or directions, call 847-298-4867 or visit MaxsonShooters.com. That's MAXON Shooters.com. Maxson Shooters, Supplies and Indoor Range.
Do you have friends and family who have met on eHarmony? Have you heard firsthand some of our great relationship stories? This is eHarmony founder Dr. Neil Clark Warren, and maybe you've thought, I wonder if I should finally try eHarmony. Well, now's the perfect time. Our free communication weekend is on, this Wednesday through Monday only. Free communication means you get unprecedented access to eHarmony, including sending messages to people who interest you. It's truly the first step in finding that perfect someone to make you really happy. And this weekend, you can start for free. eHarmony makes 10 million matches per day based on our signature matching system. We match on qualities that really count in a happy relationship. So what are you waiting for? Visit eHarmony and connect for free this Wednesday through Monday only.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636, turnkey.pro text line. Take your reactions to the New Hampshire primary, what you predict is going to happen as we move to South Carolina and Nevada and Super Tuesday. I got to mention this piece.
Yes.
New York Times.
And then I have a prediction I'd like to mention.
Okay.
Okay.
The New York Times, David Brooks, who pretends to be a conservative, Obama's favorite conservative, by the way.
Okay.
That's how conservative he is. I miss Barack Obama, the title of his piece in the New York Times. David Brooks.
I actually read a few paragraphs from that piece.
I can only get through a few paragraphs because it's so preposterous. He basically says this campaign feels like there's been a decline in the behavioral standards across the board. Many of the traits of character and leadership that Obama possesses have suddenly gone missing or in short supply. What traits of character and leadership are those, do you ask? Excellent question.
What are those?
Mr. Brooks says basic integrity, basic humanity, a soundness in his decision-making process. Basic integrity, basic humanity, and a soundness in his decision-making process. These are the hallmarks of the Obama years, according to David Brooks, self-professed, Republican conservative of sorts, who writes for the New York Times and again is the Washington Press Corps and President Obama's favorite conservative. In other words, the Democrats' favorite conservative, because he's one who undermines conservatism from within by pretending to be a conservative and taking the reasonable conservative position. I mean, the statements like this: the Obama administration has been remarkably scandal-free. This is David Brooks. Okay. Ooh.
Somebody has their head in the sand.
Or some other location. Yes, that's exactly right.
Maybe he just misses the campaign aspect from 2012 when people weren't swearing, dropping the P word, and being really vulgar in their rhetoric, like Donald Trump has been doing.
Are people doing that, or is it just like Hillary and Donald Trump who have lowered the standards of discourse and conduct in this campaign, just as they have done generally throughout their lives? But there's a whole host of other candidates. I think it's more difficult to make that case, don't you?
Yeah. But it's just funny, real quick, last night when there was a split screen of Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders, all my kids have ever known is President Obama. Because that's, he's been president for 8 years. That's all they know is the president. And they're like,
sure.
Mom, who are those two old men? Like, who are the grandpas? Because they're the same age as their grandpa, Harvey.
And you had to say, that's Bernie Sanders and that's Hillary Clinton.
Stop it. No. But Bernie Sanders, is he still speaking, by the way? Because he would not shut up. He was giving away this. You want this? I'll give you this. You want this? You've got it all.
Yeah.
Oh, no?
Go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
real quick.
Together, we have sent the message that will echo from Wall Street to Washington.
Okay, I'm already bored. But he was telling like free college for you. I got to give you this. What do you need? Yes. I don't know who's going to pay for all of this, but he was giving everything away last night.
Give me
and
or die.
He wouldn't shut up.
And the question also, was Bill Clinton left behind in New Hampshire, or is he making the trip with the Clinton campaign to South Carolina? Because he had some moments in the closing hours before the vote yesterday.
I don't think he's well. He looks, his coloring's off, and he's shaky, and he's not with it anymore.
The hotter this election gets, the more I wish I were just a former president and just for a few months, not the spouse of the next one. Because, I have to be careful what I say. Tonight, my job is to introduce Hillary. Sometimes when I'm on a stage like this, I wish we weren't married. Then I could say what I really think.
I would never allow those words to come out of my mouth.
That's not too tone deaf. Sometimes, Amish texter, sometimes Bill Clinton wishes he was not married, like on date night. Verlin on the south side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
How you doing, Dan? How you doing, Amy?
Hey, good.
I want to say, listen, I voted for George Bush twice, and I'm going to go ahead on and I'm going to vote for the third Bush because Bush is more in line with my thinking. He's for Common Core, number one. Me and you, Dan, we'll never agree, and every time you talk about the public school system, I'm going to call you and debate you about it. But he's more in line with my thinking with that, immigration reform, and he's pro-life. So I'm all in for Bush the third, and I got one critique about Hillary. Hillary Clinton, Mrs. Clinton, how dare you publicize the black issues now for your expedients to try to be presidents. Where was your voice for the past 5 to 6 years, Miss Clinton? I say no, and hell no. Don't try to use us now as a prop to try to be president.
I know I have some work to do, particularly with young people. Excuse me, just 1 second here.
Oh my God, Mom's choking!
You do talk a lot in this campaign. A lot, so.
Well, Hillary Clinton thought she had the nomination wrapped up now.
She had it wrapped up.
Till half the voters in Iowa rebelled and kicked her butt to the curb now.
Now she's feeling the burn.
This just in New Hampshire, she just lost to that socialist old man now.
Now she's feeling
and
the burn.
she'll have fun
Till Bernie takes the nomination away.
Bernie takes the nomination. And we'll have fun.
Till Bernie takes the nomination away.
Bernie takes the nomination away. Woo!
Excuse me, just 1 second here.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature New Year's Challenge. Success stories are pouring in. So many people have been helped through this incentive that I have asked Balance of Nature to continue this challenge for as long as possible.
It's wonderful. I love the product. I haven't been sick all winter, and I've classically been sick every October or November or December or maybe one of each. And I haven't been sick at all because what I've done is double up on the veggies and open the capsule and put it in a little chicken broth, made a little soup of it, and just enjoyed it. And whenever I felt like I was coming down with something, I would do that. Just prevented anything from happening.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Turnkey IT is a name you have come to know and trust on AM 560. Turnkey IT provides small businesses with IT resources that are normally reserved for Fortune 500 companies. They provide world-class network installations and ongoing IT support for fixed monthly rates based on the size of your network. In fact, Turnkey IT has a program that fits the needs of your business. Turnkey IT understands that your business matters and that keeping you focused on it makes all the difference in the world. Best of all, their service can save you time and money. Turnkey IT can give you the peace of mind, the backups are being executed, email is always available, files are secure, and you've got someone to call when you need help. Turnkey IT has people who are professional, friendly, on time, and a live person even answers the phone 24 hours a day. So visit turnkey.pro today for a plan that fits your needs. That's turnkey.pro.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The Supreme Court puts a halt to the noxious discharge that was President Obama's carbon emissions edict. We'll discuss with Steve Moore from the Heritage Foundation at 7:37.
And I'm so excited at 8:08. David French from National Review will be here. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, clouds 10 degrees above. Sun is breaking through across much of Chicagoland. Winds gusting out of the north at 12, giving us a wind chill right now of 5 below. Bernie Sanders celebrating his huge win in the New Hampshire primary.
Because of a huge voter turnout. And I say huge. We won.
Donald Trump basking in the glow of the movement that he says led him to victory in New Hampshire last night.
People are fantastic from New Hampshire. I mean, I've had a bonding relationship with them for a long time. You know, I've been up there long before the political thing. And I said I was going to do well there, and we really did, I guess, even better than anticipated.
The candidate on NBC's Today Show, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, says he and his family are going home to make a decision on his next step forward after finishing 6th in the New Hampshire primary. The budget President Obama sent to Congress yesterday provides about $19 billion for NASA in the new fiscal year. That's less than last year for the budget-starved space program. There are concerns among Olympic athletes traveling to Brazil for this summer's games amid the outbreak of Zika virus. And now the first well-known U.S. star is voicing her concerns. U.S. soccer goalkeeper Hope Solo telling Sports Illustrated she would not be going to Rio de Janeiro if the Olympics started today. States here in the heartland enjoying the lowest gas prices in more than 12 years. Gas Buddy says Indiana, Kansas, Ohio, Michigan, Minnesota, yes, Even here in Illinois, we are enjoying the lowest average gas prices since 2004. Today, President Barack Obama returns to the Illinois capital of Springfield 9 years to the day after he stood before the old state capitol announcing his run for president. And Chicago police and the FBI said they've cut off a major source of money for street gangs, the sale of fake sports and concert tickets. NHL last night, San Jose over the Blackhawks 2-0. College hoops, Kent State beat our Northern Illinois Huskies last night 75-74 in an upset. Ohio State topped Northwestern. Number 1 Villanova dumped DePaul. The news, a service of the Fix Auto Collision Centers. Crash your car? Have a friend in the business with Fix Auto Collision Centers. Locations throughout Chicagoland. Call Fix Auto Collision Centers today. 800-INFO-FIX, 800-INFO-FIX, 800-INFO-FIX. 7:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Each year, the month of March is all about the madness.
He's a whack job. He's a wacko.
This year, as the number of candidates dwindles and the delegate count climbs, the remaining candidates will meet for one final debate. On March 10th, and AM 560 is hosting the final debate watch party of the primary season. On Thursday, March 10th at Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville. Tickets are just $25 and include an all-you-can-eat buffet. Visit 560theanswer.com/March. That's 560theanswer.com/March. Sponsored in part by DS Arms.
LiveWatch helps you connect and respond up to 10 times faster in an emergency. LiveWatch has no long-term contracts. Save up to 50% off home security. Call 855-LiveWatch or visit livewatch.com.
Folks, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
My name's Elisa French, and I'm an ad executive in Chicago. I have used Townstone for 13 years. Actually used them 3 different times, 3 different homes. Great rates. I don't think we've ever paid a closing cost. I know that I've had millions of questions over the years, and Barry Sterner, the owner of Townstone, has been phenomenal, calling me back right away and answering me via email or phone, and it just has been a really easy process.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111, or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
7:37 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Like the inbound Kennedy has delays from Canfield to the Burn Circle, 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. Eden's 26 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. The Eisenhower is an hour from Thorndale to downtown, outbound 34 minutes. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 20 minutes, 95 to downtown. Eastbound Adams Tollway, very slow. Barrington Road to 53, then jammed Arlington Heights Road to Elmhurst Road, where crash is cleared. Traffic is a service of ChicagolandJiffyLube.com. You don't have to make an appointment at Jiffy Lube, and they offer more than just oil changes. So if you need a high-quality oil change, wiper blades, or any other preventive maintenance, Jiffy Lube has you covered. For more details and big savings on your service, visit ChicagolandJiffyLube.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. AirComfort.com, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Partly sunny and bitterly cold, high of 18. Overnight, a low of 8 above. 10 at O'Hare, 12 along the lakefront. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by RadioPlumbingDeals.com. Have a plumbing problem? Get the best plumbers in Chicagoland and massive discounts at RadioPlumbingDeals.com.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, that music, of course, means it's time for us to talk to our friend Steve Moore, but we'll get to him in 1 second. I just want to frame our discussion because politics has become a battle of good versus evil.
It has to. And who will prevail?
Lightness versus darkness. And I'm not saying that. The second-place finisher in the Republican primary last night said that.
At a time when clearly change is in the air, maybe, just maybe, we are turning the page on a dark part of American politics, because tonight the light overcame the darkness of negative campaigning.
John Kasich's going to be the happy warrior that goes from New Hampshire on to the rest of the nation, inflames our hearts.
With comments like that. He told us, too.
Secures the nomination.
Yeah.
Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky.
He told us, too, you better get your seatbelt on because we're in for a heck of a ride. And he was running around the stage while his, I think, campaign manager was speaking, giving the peace sign, but he was just pumping his hand up in the air saying, we're number 2. Number 2's the new number 1, don't you know?
And you made it happen.
Yeah.
And you made it happen.
And you made it happen.
And you.
Oh, so fun.
Steve Moore, Chief Economist of the Heritage Foundation. What was your take on last night's outcome?
Hey, guys. Good morning. First, a couple of takeaways. One is that Hillary Clinton is not going to be the president of the United States. She is extremely damaged, and she is an extremely flawed candidate. And I can nearly guarantee you that she will not be the president. Just can't make the connection.
All right, Stephen Moore, then who's going to be president?
Donald Trump is. Trump is going to win. He is amazing. I thought his acceptance speech last night was amazing. It was Reagan-esque. It was patriotic. It was optimistic. He was right on message. And this guy, and I'm one of those people who doubted. I said, these polls can't be right. He's not going to crush everyone in the Republican field. And he did. He won that race, beating the next two. He got more than the next two combined. It was an amazing money because, of course, it's Ohio.
Yeah, but if Trump is the nominee, then how does he pick Kasich? And particularly if it's Hillary he's facing, how does he not go with a Nikki Haley or a Carly?
Well, I think that's right. He might go that direction with Nikki Haley's a good bet too. I think one of these Republican female governors would be a good choice. But look, Ohio, this isn't complicated, right? Republicans have to win Ohio, and Kasich is still very popular in Ohio. By the way, in contrast to Christie, who's got about 35% approval rating in New Jersey, but I got to say this. The takedown of Rubio that Kasich had on Saturday night, that was the most
Christie
significant event of the week. And then I think Rubio, boy, it's tough for him to recover because what Kasich, what Christie did was expose all of the kind of reservations that people had about Rubio. Marco Rubio will be president someday, but I don't think it's going to be in 2016.
Yeah, he exposed him. He looked so vulnerable up there on that stage on Saturday night. But don't you think Marco Rubio is going to do well in Nevada? Think about his storyline there. His mother was a maid on the Strip for 5 years. His dad was a bartender. And my aunt was there, and she said even some Democrats love Marco Rubio because they know his family.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I love Marco Rubio. I love his story. I love his. He's a great, articulate speaker. And so, I agree with you. I think that what's going on, though, is, I think more and more about this. I wonder what you guys, what your ideas are about this. I just think the more I see Trump, the more I see the anti-Obama. He is everything that Obama is not. He is a man of accomplishment. His speech is the one word that came across to me was patriotic. Everything he says is so pro-America, and it's such a nice shift from a president now who blames everything on America. He knows how to run things. We got a president who couldn't run a lemonade stand. All of these things are very likable about Trump. Now, look, I don't have a horse in this race. I've worked a lot with Ted Cruz. Cruz had a decent night, but look,
more than a decent night. That's for him to finish third in New Hampshire, that was not anticipated.
I know, but they're arguing about who got 10, 11, 12%, and the big story is that Trump got 35% of the vote.
Correct.
And he just blew away the rest of the field. The other thing I would say I want to get off my chest is this economy is in real trouble right now. I mentioned this a week or two ago, but the economy is slowing down, and the other thing that didn't get much attention was Obama came out with his budget yesterday. I bet you guys didn't even notice that.
Yeah, we've actually talked about it, Steve. We're on it.
We're on
Nothing gets past us. Nothing gets past us.
I knew
Nice
it.
try. Nice try.
Did you talk about all the taxes in that budget?
Well, the gas tax, what made me think of you.
Yeah, well, the gas tax, he wants to raise the capital gains for the third time. He wants to raise it to, we started at 15, then he went to 20, then 24, now he wants to raise it to 28%. He wants to raise the top tax rates. He wants to have the oil and gas taxes. He wants to tax banks. I mean, there's nothing this guy doesn't want to tax. And his budget would take spending up by another $1 trillion over the next 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, but the reason it's important, guys, is this is what you get if we have a third Obama term. If you get Hillary or Sanders, and I'm telling you, that's not going to happen.
Well, and to Trump's kind of force in this race, even though I agree with some of what you said in terms of it being the negative composite of Obama on things like patriotism, but he is also a cult of personality candidate, and that's where the concern comes in. But
wait. You mean sort of like the guy we elected 8 years ago?
Yeah, well, exactly. Yes, exactly. And so, but on this, Trump also has currency on Obama's last budget here. After Obama is going to more than double the nation's debt during his 8 years. Yeah. But he did so in large measure for much of that time with a Republican Congress, and so Trump gets to run against them both.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you, Dan. That's the most perceptive comment you've made.
Wow.
No,
that's a low bar.
Exactly right.
But yes.
So Trump, you just nailed it. He's running not just against sort of the Obama legacy. He's running against these nitwits in Congress and that disgraceful budget that they passed. And I said this when the Republicans passed that budget. I said this is a gift to Donald Trump. This disgraceful budget may be the passport that Donald Trump needed to win the White House, and it's looking like I might have been right about that. But you put it very well. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Let me. It's high praise coming from a chief economist at the Heritage Foundation.
I may even steal that from you today when I'm on Fox this afternoon.
No attribution required. No attribution required. So, one other thing I wanted to get your take on, because this also got relegated to the back pages because of yesterday's primary. But the Supreme Court, in a rather unprecedented move, putting a halt to the noxious discharge that was President Obama's carbon emissions edict. This is important.
Huge. Because this basically what Obama wants to do is basically to totally destroy every oil and gas job we have in this country and every coal job in this country. And he's doing a very good job of that, by the way. And this is slowing him down dramatically. And by the way, Obama did this, folks, just so you know, whether you like what he did or not. He did this through an executive order. He did not go through the legislature. He did not go through the legislative process. And I believe what the court was saying is you don't have the unilateral authority to do this by executive action. That's really important, not just because of reversing this decision, but also the implications it has for the most. And, isn't it amazing that liberals used to call George W. Bush an imperial president? Mm-hmm. We have the most imperialistic president in the history of our country.
Well, do you feel Obama's been put in his place now?
I hope so.
Yeah.
He's coming to Springfield, Illinois today, by the way. Did you know that?
But what's amazing to me, though, is that his budget was an in-your-face budget. It wasn't like maybe we should slow down on the borrowing and spending and taxing. It was like full speed ahead.
Well, he's got a pen and a phone. Steve Moore, chief economist at the Heritage Foundation. Steve, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Okay, Dan. I'm gonna borrow what you said today without attribution.
I'm honored. Honored.
Bye. See ya.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Plenty of sunshine right now, but as they say, don't let the sunshine fool you because it is cold out there. A high today of 18. We're at, what are we at? A balmy 8 degrees right now. And then tonight, low of 8 degrees, and tomorrow mostly sunny, but very cold again, a high of 21. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. The inbound Kennedy is now up to 55 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 37 from Montrose, 26 in the Express. Outbound 35 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Eden's 26 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. The Eisenhower's a mess now. An hour and 15 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. An hour and 2 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 40 minutes to Thorndale. There's a crash before Oak Park Avenue in the left lane. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 5. The Ryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown, Lakeshore Drive. Southbound slow Wilson to Fullerton, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State delays 95th to 83rd, from the Stevenson to Ogden, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. It's about Adams Tollway, all tied up from Higgins to Elmhurst Road after earlier crashes. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Hey, the weather outside might feel like winter, but if you have kids in school, you should be thinking about back to school season. And specifically, you should be thinking about where you'll be sending your kids to school this fall. Maybe you've considered a private school in the past, but always figured, I can't afford it. Well, if that's the case, then we want to tell you again about halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find dozens of local private schools that are offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at half the price. There's no catch. Find a school near you, purchase a tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It's that simple. HalfPriceSchools.com has schools located all across the Chicagoland area, including South Holland, Chicago, Arlington Heights, Grays Lake, Hoffman Estates. Now, this might make private schools a real option for your family for the first time, but do not wait. Many of these vouchers will sell out. So visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
I noticed a difference the first bottle that I went through, definitely. And I just add it to my daily food is what I do, and it's great. It definitely works. Definitely more energetic, more clear thinking. I don't have what you would call a very good diet. We don't do 3 meals a day type of deal. So adding that definitely helped.
I just also want to let you know that, man, I really feel the difference. I never get sick. I'm 55 now, but, I mean, I don't look it. I definitely really see the difference with them. So it's like, it's great.
I do love it, actually. I can feel a difference.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
I'm Dan Proft with an Upstream Idea brought to you by the Illinois Policy Institute. 27. Illinois state employees, on average, receive total compensation 27% higher than their private sector counterparts. State employees made nearly $4,000 more in wages and $13,000 in benefits than private sector employees. More than half of state workers will retire before the age of 60 with a guaranteed state pension. The state is in a financial death spiral with ground impact imminent. So keep this in mind as Governor Bruce Rauner breaks off contract talks with AFSCME, the state's largest public sector union. AFSCME has been unwilling to give on its demands for annual step increases of 3.8%, in addition to annual general wage increases. The lowball estimate of the cost of what AFSCME demands is $1.6 billion. That's $1.6 billion more from Illinois families who already pay the highest property taxes in the nation. This is Governor Rauner's moment of truth. He ran for office saying he is not a politician. He said he is a businessman who will make the difficult decisions to turn around the state he loves. We're about to find out if that's true. For more Upstream ideas, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, text to the show from 708. All Republicans need to do to win Ohio is to pledge to restore the name of Mount McKinley. That's a good one. It's called Denali again.
Denali. Yeah. Did you go there when you were in Alaska?
I did not have the opportunity, no.
Me neither.
I did marshal a dog sled, though.
Oh, did you?
While I was
You went on that excursion? Did you take the helicopter up on the glacier and then dog sled down?
Yeah.
I tried to do that, too, and I paid for it, but the dogs weren't feeling well that day. I mean, can you imagine getting on a helicopter, going on top of a glacier, and, it's one of those, sorry, folks, the park's closed. The moose out front should have told you.
Yeah, I can imagine it now with that sound effect.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
It's cold up there. Cold in August, huh?
And then there's this. We focus so much on these celebrities when they're tools of the left. What about the celebrity, the athlete that stands up for moral and political rectitude, Amy?
You mean people such as Kurt Schilling?
That's who I mean. Kurt Schilling.
And there's a few others.
World Series champion.
That's right. He played for the Astros.
Keep going.
And
who else you got? Phillies.
Astros, Phillies.
Who else you got?
Red Sox.
Red Sox. Yeah. No, not.
Didn't he play with a hanging toenail?
The bloody sock. You're thinking of the bloody sock.
Is that him?
Yeah, that's him.
Gosh, I'm digging deep in my.
Yeah, your sports knowledge is dizzying.
It's Pretty impressive, huh?
Well, Kurt Schilling, he donated $250 to Ben Carson September 1st of 2015. And
that's it?
Well, you run up. You make your first donation, and then you see how he does.
Okay.
I don't know if more donations will be coming for Ben Carson from Schilling, but that's a good indicator.
He finished last night, by the way.
Yeah, he would. Well, no, Jim Gilmore finished.
Oh, Jim.
last.
Oh, that's another person where
Exponentially more. I think he was close to 3 figures. Kurt Schilling, though, just an interesting little on the disclosure. The FEC, Federal Election Commission disclosure of Kurt Schilling's donation to Ben Carson's campaign.
Mm-hmm.
You have to fill in your occupation. Under occupation, Schilling wrote ESPN in parentheses, not sure how much longer, analyst in parentheses, for now anyway.
That's honest.
Schilling told CNN Money he was being a smart aleck online in a document no one should care about or read. It's not that newsworthy, but it is newsworthy that because of some of Schilling's tweets, he was demoted in terms of baseball coverage for ESPN. But it's nice to see Schilling still standing up for the conservative worldview, because ESPN's as liberal as the New York Times.
Get to the chopper!
And now, a moment of objectivism with Yaron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Imagine you really hated poor people. What would you do? Well, maybe you'd prevent them from learning, say by sending them to many of today's government schools. Or maybe you'd prevent them from working, say by the minimum wage, which says that anyone whose work isn't worth $15 an hour is going to be stopped from accepting a lower paying job. Or maybe you'd force them to work without pay for a month and a half a year, which is basically what Social Security and Medicare does via 15.3% payroll tax. Today's regulatory welfare state is not the solution to poverty. It's what's holding back the ambitious poor. For more, visit ARIradio.com. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ARIradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
Gentlemen, Dan Proft here. Do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol number, but do you know your testosterone? I do. Low T Center makes it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and know your results within minutes. If you're a man over 40 and have noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or libido, you may have low testosterone. Low T makes you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. At Low T Center, it takes just minutes for results, and services are covered by most health insurance. And they now offer convenient and flexible hours. So do yourself a favor and get your levels checked at Low T Center. Call today, 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305. Or visit lowtcenter.com and tell them Dan Proft sent you.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, that anti-Trump manifesto written by the National Review didn't work. So what's next? Well, that's David French. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching today. A family dead in a murder-suicide. Apparently, according to police, they struggled with financial problems. Arlington Heights police searching for a missing father this morning. We'll have an update on that story. The city council is fighting over TIF funds, and the feud is simmering. Synagogue vandal ruled insane in DuPage County. A lawyer charged with stealing from her ex-boss. And Hillary Clinton will swing through Chicago and the state of Illinois next week after her loss in New Hampshire. Hawks fall to San Jose last night. A partly sunny and bitterly cold day ahead. WIND Chicago news time is 8 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Dave Anthony.
I am going to be the greatest jobs president that God ever created.
Donald Trump got more votes than second and third place combined in New Hampshire, while Democrat Bernie Sanders beat Hillary Clinton by 22 points.
Our great country belongs to all of the people.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Manchester.
Sanders told cheering supporters that his win here in New Hampshire
is nothing short of the beginning of a political revolution.
Clinton vowed to press on after losing big to the Vermont Democrat.
We're going to fight for every vote in every state.
Sanders now has the task of selling his vision, universal health care and income equality, to Southern Democrats. They'll caucus in Nevada a week from Saturday. Democrats vote in South Carolina 17 days from now. Dave.
Rachel, now to the Republican race. Fox's Tanya J. Powers also in Manchester.
Well, they love him here in New Hampshire.
He speaks my language.
Talking about Donald Trump. It showed at the polls Trump took 35% of the vote. Ohio Governor John Kasich in second place.
Right after he was shot on Sunday while playing Xbox. Orlando police say his cousin accidentally fired a gun in his hand when he lost balance on a hoverboard. He's not been charged at this point. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Mostly sunny skies this morning. We have 12 degrees, a wind chill of 5 below at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. President Barack Obama today returns to the Illinois capital of Springfield. The president addressing the Illinois General Assembly in a mostly private event. An electrical fire is blamed for causing some delays on Metra's Union Pacific West line over the last 12 hours. Normal service resumed late last night, but some trains are moving slow this morning. Oak Forest detectives say financial problems may have led to the deaths of 3 family members in a murder-suicide.
David Joost had just lost his employment in Orland Park, and there's evidence that they were struggling financially.
Police Chief Gregory Anderson says the husband strangled his wife and son in their beds and took his own life by cutting his wrist and then closing himself in the garage with the car running. Northwest Suburban Police are searching for a father of 2 who's been missing since early this week. Tim Anderson was last seen leaving his Arlington Heights home Monday morning. His car has been found near the Barrington Riding Center. Police say they're looking for Anderson wearing blue jeans, a Bears hoodie, and a black North Face jacket. After her drubbing in the New Hampshire primary, the Hillary Clinton camp moving full steam ahead with a stop here in Chicago planned for next week. February 17, Clinton will attend 3 fundraisers and hold a campaign event to ramp up her efforts in this state. Bulls All-Star Jimmy Butler sidelined up to 4 weeks with a strained knee. San Jose over the Blackhawks 2-0 last night. The News, a service of Fix Auto Collision Centers. Crashed your car? You have a friend in the business with Fix Auto Collision Centers with locations throughout Chicago. Call Fix Auto Collision Centers today. 800-INFO-FIX, 800-INFO-FIX. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Lillian Wu.
From the Fox Business Network, U.S. stocks are expected to rally at the open ahead of testimony from Fed Chair Janet Yellen. She is expected to get a grilling from the House Financial Services Committee on the state of the economy and concern about world markets. Yellen addresses the Senate Banking Committee tomorrow. The president promising to push ahead with efforts to cut back on greenhouse gas emissions after a divided Supreme Court puts the Clean Power Plan on hold till after legal challenges are resolved. Time Warner beating fourth quarter estimates with a profit of $857 million. Some 680,000 Volkswagens are being recalled because Takata-made airbags in them could be defective. And the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration expanding and upgrading its investigation into electronic gear shifters on more than 856,000 Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Lillian Wu.
8:05 in Chicago, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
In New Hampshire, it was Donald Trump who came out on top.
We are going to make America so great again, maybe greater than ever before.
Now, the race turns to South Carolina.
Because I'm coming back.
What happens next on the campaign trail
We'll see you in a few weeks. We're going to come and win.
happens here.
We're going to fight for real solutions that make a real difference in people's lives.
This is your election station, AM 560.
Thank you, New Hampshire.
The Answer.
Valentine's Day is this week, and Pro Flowers is offering an amazing deal. 2 dozen gorgeous assorted roses with a free glass vase for just $29.99. Order now from Pro Flowers to get huge savings, plus pick the delivery date and it's guaranteed. But hurry, this incredible offer expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing deal is to visit proflowers.com. Click on the blue radio microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code ROSE37. That's code ROSE37.
Uber is an app that helps you make extra money just for driving your car. And because it's totally flexible, you don't have to quit your day job to make more money, because you can drive and earn whenever you want. There are 3 simple steps to start making money. First, sign up for free on your phone. Second, answer a few questions and get approved. And third, start driving. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up today at drivewithuber.com. That's drivewithuber.com.
Hansel and Gretel left breadcrumbs on the trail to help find their way back home. You leave breadcrumbs when you use public Wi-Fi, shop online, or give out your social security number. At LifeLock, we can detect signs that someone picked up your breadcrumbs to take what's yours. Unlike free credit monitoring, we have a resolution staff to help fix messy identity fraud problems. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. Plans start at $9.99 a month. Go to LifeLock.com and get 10% off with promo code NEWS.
8:07 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Metro reports delays up to 45 minutes on the Rock Island line due to switch problems near Tinley Park. The Union Pacific West line has delays due to yesterday's fire at Melrose Park. The Edens Expressway is 26 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. Kennedy, 55 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Express lane save 10, outbound 35 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and 26 minutes now from Thorndale to downtown, an hour and 8 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 35 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eastbound Adams Tollway has heavy delays. Higgins to Elmhurst Road after earlier crashes. And it's slow going on the northbound Veterans Memorial, 75th, the Reagan Tollway. The Army Trail toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Wind chill values of 0 to 10 below zero for today and tonight. Partial sunshine today with a high 17 and a partly cloudy night with a low 7. Tomorrow mostly sunny, high 22. Clouds increasing at night, low 13. Mostly cloudy and breezy Friday, high 25. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
10 above at O'Hare, 12 above along the lakefront. Next news 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Property Tax Show, Saturdays at 6 p.m. Hosted by Brad Hayes, Chicagoland's property tax expert.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
We are going to make America
That will never happen again. And we've learned it's not whether you get knocked down that matters, it's whether you get back up.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Just a little bit of a note. Ash Wednesday today.
Yeah, I know. Where are your ashes? You devout Catholic you.
I got here at 4:30 in the morning, so I'll probably do it after the show.
Don't you people? Isn't it 24 hours once the clock goes past midnight? You put ashes on. Can't you go to Holy Name Cathedral at 12:30 in the morning?
Yeah, for the residents of Dixville Notch get to go at midnight, and then everybody else goes to get their ashes later. It's very much like the New Hampshire primary that way. I'm trying to think about what to give up, or perhaps more in the vein of John Kasich, what to do better, do something positive rather than give something up.
You can volunteer once a week. You can maybe coach a team.
Yeah.
You can maybe
I could do that.
Help out at a soup kitchen, or
I think
or maybe you can give up something.
I think probably more time devoted to myself. More me time because I'm a little bit too giving. That's my big flaw.
Well, you live alone. Do you even have a plant?
No.
No goldfish, no animals.
No, I'm
so you're
not.
nurturing nothing.
No.
Okay.
See, that's the thing.
Maybe you should start with
This is a time for introspection.
What's the animal that you wanted to?
I want a giant Flemish rabbit, which I can get. I also want a slow loris, but those are illegal.
Yeah, but the
as
giant
domestic pets.
Flemish rabbit. I'd love to see you walking that thing down Lakeshore Drive on the bike path.
Yeah.
Move over! I'm coming in.
Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll give a giant Flemish rabbit a home this Lenten season to share my love and my abode.
What would you name it?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I
Big
haven't
Bunny.
gotten that far.
Watch out! I got my big bunny.
Bill Clinton in this redemptive period.
You look like a Flemish rabbit.
He also is reflecting on his life and wishes sometimes things were different than they are.
The hotter this election gets, the more I wish I were just a former president and just for a few months, not the spouse of the next one.
I wish he was not the spouse of Hillary Clinton. Respect very much, and all opining in different areas why not Trump, anybody but Trump. And the voters in New Hampshire and right now in South Carolina and subsequent states seem to have a different opinion. We're going to get an assessment of where National Review thinks Trump is and if he is stoppable. From David French from National Review Online, who joins us now. David, thanks again for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
So what of Donald Trump's performance yesterday and frankly, John Kasich's performance as well, and Jeb Bush's performance, which seems to only benefit Trump by keeping 5 or 6 guys in the race going into South Carolina and Nevada and Super Tuesday?
Who? John Kasich? I don't recall who that is.
Yes.
Look, I mean, it was kind of it was a little bit pitiful, I think, to watch him claiming a big victory when Trump more than doubled his share of the electorate. Kasich went to New Hampshire, camped out there, lived there basically for almost a year, and he came away with less than half the votes of a guy who, by historical standards, didn't campaign in New Hampshire that much. I mean, it was a crushing defeat for everybody else in New Hampshire. I mean, there's just no other way to spin it. Trump won by more than double the amount of votes of his next closest competitor. He came back very strong from Iowa. He overperformed his polls. There's no way to cut this other than that Trump won a very, very big victory. Maybe if there's anyone who can take anything from New Hampshire positive, and that's a big if, it might be Ted Cruz, who someone could argue that he performed a little bit better than expected. But this was a Donald Trump night, just like on the Democrat side, it was a Bernie Sanders night.
But the biggest loser, I think, was Governor Chris Christie, who spent even more time in New Hampshire than John Kasich, and he didn't even go to South Carolina. He abruptly went home to New Jersey. Do you think he'll be suspending the campaign today?
Maybe he'll be a contestant on The Biggest Loser.
Well, honestly, I don't think it matters what he does at this point. He was at 2% in the polls in South Carolina. He has nowhere to go but down from his 2% at this point. So it's going to be a non-event, almost like when Mike Huckabee and Rick Santorum suspended their campaigns. They were both in that range. The really important point, I think, that's going to be actually positive for Donald Trump going forward is that enough people did well enough to stay in to keep the anti-Trump vote from coalescing. So he got the best possible outcome, which was a big win in New Hampshire. And then 4 other people clumped between 10 and 16%, which means that 4 other people go down to South Carolina with money and ambition, and they'll be fighting and tearing at each other to win the title of the one to face Donald Trump. Now, again, the only kind of exception to that is Ted Cruz, who's got enough of a shot in South Carolina to where the battle between him and Trump will be something to behold. But as of right now, you've got 4 other candidates that are going to be going on, at least for now, who matter and who will be splitting that vote. And that's just great news for Trump.
Well, and in South Carolina, Ted Cruz back kind of in his wheelhouse, 60% of the GOP primary electorate evangelical. And in addition to that, maybe, again, to Ted Cruz's benefit, if he can crystallize the race as a two-man race between him and Trump, when you think about Jeb Bush and John Kasich, Kasich's not registering in subsequent states, at least right now, and Jeb also struggling to, and in New Hampshire, he spent $35 million on TV as compared to Ted Cruz's $800,000 to finish close fourth to Cruz. So it's hard to see how he keeps up that pace just to put 10 percentage points on the board and really be a player in the race.
Well, right. I mean, and that's there's a number of things here. I mean, you had Jeb Bush spent $35 million. You have Marco Rubio with just stunning downward momentum. And that's why I think when we get into South Carolina, you're going to see, at least for the time being, a lot of the attention is going to be on between Cruz and Trump. And the interesting dynamic there is it's not just South Carolina. After South Carolina, you go into what's the Super Tuesday, which is now being called the SEC primary after the Southeastern Conference. In other words, it's a bunch of southern states. And the South is two things, really. Everyone says that the South is conservative, conservative, conservative. I live here. I've lived here vast majority of my life. It is conservative and it is populist. And Trump appeals to populists. Ted Cruz appeals to conservatives. And so you could really have a serious battle between those two. And if the rest of the party doesn't get its act together, what you might have is this so-called establishment lane being sort of turning into the scraps that a few people fight over. But heading into the South, it looks like Cruz and Trump, and with other candidates fighting for this other establishment lane, which may never really coalesce until it's too late to be a factor.
And where does Marco Rubio fit into any of this?
Well, I think his only hope, frankly, is to come out and just have the next debate to be the best performance of his life. I think that's really what he can hope for right now. Right now, if you're going to evaluate the impact of that last debate that he had, it's starting to look more like that Rick Perry oops moment from 2012 than it is one of these, temporary stumbles that people can overcome. And, he had perhaps his night was as bad as Donald Trump's was good. He has nothing to take away from that's positive.
We're talking to David French from National Review Online. And I know this may be heresy over at NRO, but are you prepared to say at this point, I know it's only a couple 100,000 people in Iowa, a couple 100,000 people in New Hampshire, and it's a big country, but are you prepared to say at this point that it's more likely than not that Trump will be the Republican nominee?
I think it's more likely that Trump will be the nominee right now than anybody else, but I don't think it's more likely than not that he'll be the nominee. I would say he's got about a 40% chance, and Ted Cruz maybe 30-35% chance, and then the field gets the rest. But he's certainly changed the dynamics.
So if Donald Trump is the nominee, what will those 22 conservatives who penned that anti-Trump manifesto for National Review, will they coalesce behind him?
I think some will, and I think others won't. I think I'm not sure that Glenn Beck will. I think he's been pretty clear that he will not. But I think many others will. Look, I mean, we've spent a lot of time talking about the Republicans. I'll tell you who right now has worse problems than the Republicans is the Democrats. I mean, their establishment picked frontrunner couldn't hold on to a 56-point lead in New Hampshire. And she's while she still has the odds-on favorite to win, she's also under FBI investigation. And their go-to alternative is a socialist who's promising the largest tax increase in the whole history of the human race. So it's an interesting time right now, and I don't think either party's establishment is feeling great about their prospects.
All right, he's David French, National Review Online. David, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Your phone calls coming up. 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. But first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine today, but cold to come with it. A high of 18 degrees right now. It is 10 degrees at O'Hare. And tonight, a low of 8. And tomorrow, more of the same, mostly sunny, but very cold, a high of 21. Let's get the travel times. How's the inbound Kennedy, Jim Telemonte?
It's heavy, Amy, but not as bad as the Eisenhower if you're looking for a bright spot. The Kennedy's 57 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. The delays are from Nagel into the Circle. 37 minutes from Montrose, 26 in the Express. And outbound, it's 35 minutes from downtown to the airport. To get to the Kennedy on the Edens, it's 26 minutes from Lake Cook to the Junction, outbound 31. The Eisenhower runs an hour and a half from Thorndale to downtown. From Mannheim, it's an hour and 10 minutes. Outbound, 34 minutes, post office to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, fine outbound. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to the Loop. Lakeshore Drive, southbound stop and go Wilson to Fullerton, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State, slow 95th to the 83rd Street toll, from the Stevenson to Ogden, from the Eisenhower to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway still tied up from Barrington Road to Gulf Road. There's some lake effect snow in LaPorte County causing delays on the eastbound Indiana toll road starting around US 35. There are 3 separate crashes in mile markers 44 and 46 near Michigan City. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Whoa, this is heavy.
ChicagoRadioDeals.com and Red Dot Arms has partnered together to bring you a full curriculum of training classes. Start with the Refuse to be a Victim seminar, which teaches basic skills and attitude for developing a strategy for your personal safety. Paired with the Home and Firearm Safety course, this non-shooting class teaches you the safe handling and storage of firearms and ammunition in the home. This bundle for beginners, only $50. Now continue your training with the NRA Basic Pistol Shooting class, which includes in-class instruction and range time. This 8-hour class retails for $140. It's only $75 at CRD. And for the experienced shooter, there are also deals for personal protection courses and private training lessons. So set your sights on the Red Dot Arms deals at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Plus, check out the other personal training courses and seminars available, brought to you only by ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
A beauty day to play 18, huh, Dale? 80 degrees and not a cloud in the sky. This is the life. The forecast looks great for the next 3 days, too. Looks like we'll just schedule 3 more courses this week. Tee it up.
You've been pretty lucky that you've been able to spend some quality time in the sun. Something that you may not be so lucky with is the fact that 1 in 5 people will develop skin cancer in their lifetime. At Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, they know that most people are unaware of the effects that a lifetime of sun can have on their skin. If you've been sunburned in your lifetime, it's time to have your skin checked out. Call Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates at 815-744-8554 or visit skinhealthpros.com. The doctors at Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates have your skin health covered. Skin cancer kills, so today's the day to get your skin checked. Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, 815-744-8554 or visit skinhealthpros.com. Healthy skin, healthy body, healthy, happy you.
Valentine's Day is this week, and Pro Flowers is offering an amazing deal. 2 dozen assorted roses plus a free glass vase for just $29.99. Go to proflowers.com, click on the microphone in the right corner, and enter code 1515. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. Imagine her delight when 2 dozen gorgeous assorted roses arrive. And for such an amazing price, it's a win-win. Order now from Pro Flowers. You pick the delivery date, and it's guaranteed. 2 dozen stunning assorted roses, guaranteed to stay fresh and beautiful for at least 7 days for $29.99. And will include a vase for free. Fresh flowers, guaranteed delivery, and add-ons to complete your gift. Pro Flowers has everything you need to win Valentine's Day. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing Valentine's Day deal is to visit proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 1515. That's proflowers.com, secret code 1515.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, text from 630. Slow Loris has poisonous elbows because I said I wanted a slow Loris, and I do want one. I mentioned they are illegal to own. Because of that, I still want one.
Poisonous elbows?
Yeah, back teeth and poisonous elbows is the defense mechanism. Now, their poison can induce anaphylactic shock in humans, but not necessarily. Wow. Not necessarily. I'm willing to risk it.
Oh, my God.
But I have to, work around federal law. That's the problem. All right, back to New Hampshire results. We got some people who want to chime in on the results and what they think those results portend for future elections and the race in general. Let's go to Art and Skokie. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning, John and Amy.
Good morning. Dan, I'm Dan. But, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't appreciate what you mock I don't like mock anybody, and I don't like what you like make fun of Governor Kasich. You know, he seemed like at least human being. You know, unlike Jeffster. And I don't know if you know about.
Aren't you mocking?
Bush's crime.
Aren't you mocking Jeb right now by calling him Jebster?
Well, yeah, but you know, making fun of his like how he speaks or his hands or wherever. You know,
yeah.
If you knew about Bush's crime family, you probably would love him even more than Joel Brodsky. Than you hate. I don't want to hate anybody, but you know,
yeah.
You seem like you despise Joel Brodsky.
Thanks for the call, Art.
Art.
Thanks for chastising me for making fun of people. Like when people call someone the Bush crime family. That's. Yeah,
but we were talking about John Kasich because he was he was a little over the top. He was excited. He was happy he won, and he worked hard for that second place finish, but it was a second place finish.
Here's the bottom line. No politician, no person is above reproach, and politicians above parody, even people I like. And so everybody gets equal treatment. If you want to revere politicians, you're free to do so, but that's not my bag.
Please clap.
Michael, yes.
Please clap.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Please love me.
Michael in Riverside, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. How are you?
Good.
Hey, well, first off, I'd like to say that Donald Trump, he has motivated a lot of people, and I think he overall has been a positive contribution to the race. But here's my question. What, in your estimation, would the race be like now if Donald Trump had not entered?
I think Rand Paul would still be in. That's for sure.
Well, it's really hard to predict. It's an interesting question. I think it's really hard to say. I think it would be probably
Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Rand Paul.
Well, and Jeb and Kasich. I mean, they did well with Trump in New Hampshire, at least. I mean, relatively speaking, I presume they'd still be around, and maybe they'd be getting more of a look because the only person in the rest of the field that is really, I think, has the potential to capture most of the Trump voters if he were the nominee is Cruz. So I think Cruz would actually probably be the greatest beneficiary of Trump not being in the race. But I think it would be much less clear at this stage who the front runner is, than it is with Trump in the race. Thanks for the call, Michael. Interesting thought exercise. Appreciate it. Sean from Elmwood Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Someone tell that moron Art he's on the wrong station. Go to the dial where the guy's name is John, moron, and to think his vote is going to supersede mine. Listen, I don't remember Diggle Stephen Moore counting the vote margin when Ted Cruz did the exact same thing in Iowa. The largest turnout in Iowa's history. And as far as New Hampshire is concerned, it was in the 1880s that the People's Party, you know, the Marxist one that Obama's parents subscribed to, that's where it reared its ugly head. And that's where its presidential candidate is from. So you have 125 years of Soviet-style socialism in New Hampshire, whose, ironically, slogan is live free or die, whose new slogan is we choose death slowly through our votes. Morons.
Thanks for that. Thanks
Sean,
for the
we
call,
love you,
Sean.
but we have
Appreciate
to take
it.
John from Palatine.
John from Palatine.
Hey, Dan and Amy, how's it going?
Hey, good.
I have to rest my ear from that diatribe from Sean.
Yes.
But I just call that if you do get that Flemish rabbit, I suggest you name him Rom so you can take your friend everywhere.
Thanks for the call, John. But the problem with the giant Flemish rabbit, I'd have to get a regular-sized rabbit. The giant Flemish rabbit is bigger.
Do you have to get a dog tag for that?
I don't know.
I own that. Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. As native Chicagoans, my partners and I know this city, its economy, and the challenges that small businesses face. We like to think of Signature Bank as your hometown bank. Chicagoans helping Chicagoans. We understand that banking is ultimately about people, and we build long-term, lasting relationships with our customers. We stand by our customers, and our customers stand by us, and we welcome new customers every day. We look forward to welcoming you and your business into the Signature Bank family.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Gentlemen, Dan Proft here. Do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol number, but do you know your testosterone? I do. Low T Center makes it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and know your results within minutes. If you're a man over 40 and have noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or libido, you may have low testosterone. Low T makes you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. At Low T Center, it takes just minutes for results, and services are covered by most health insurance. And they now offer convenient and flexible hours, so do yourself a favor and get your levels checked at Low T Center. Call today, 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305, or visit lowtcenter.com and tell them Dan Proft sent you.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, you know what, Dan? I found a giant Flemish rabbit. It's only $50, and I can get it for you by today. So that could be part of your Lent, that you will love and nurture something.
Well, more of your Lenten sacrifices and suggested names for my giant Flemish rabbit after we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Clouds and sun, 11 degrees. Trump and Sanders wins in the New Hampshire presidential primary. Bernie Sanders crediting the large voter turnout for the win in New Hampshire.
Because of a huge voter turnout, and I say huge, we won because we harnessed the energy and the excitement that the Democratic Party will need to succeed in November.
Trump scoring an impressive win against his top rivals in the GOP contest.
Congratulations to Bernie. In all fairness, we have to congratulate him. We may not like it, but I heard parts of Bernie's speech. He wants to give away our country, folks. He wants to give away. We're not going to let it happen.
Exit polls show age was a large factor among New Hampshire Democrats who voted for Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Females under 45 backing the Vermont senator by a wide margin. The head of the FBI says encryption technology kept investigators from accessing information on one of the San Bernardino shooter's cell phones. FBI Director James Comey says sophisticated technology makes it much more difficult now for law enforcement to gather evidence. The Supreme Court deals a major blow to the Obama administration's plan to battle climate change. Court yesterday granting a request by 27 states and various companies to block federal regulations to curb carbon dioxide emissions from power plants. The president today returns to the Illinois capital of Springfield, addressing the Illinois General Assembly in a mostly private event. Oak Forest detectives say financial problems may have led to the deaths of 3 family members in a murder-suicide. And Mayor Emanuel's city council allies have stalled a plan pushed by an independent group of aldermen to transfer some special tax money to the public schools. Chicago sports, Jimmy Butler sidelined 3 to 4 weeks with a strained knee. San Jose beat the Blackhawks last night 2-0. The news service of Jewel Osco. Save more at Jewel's 4-day sale. Get signature fresh Atlantic salmon fillets, $5.99 a pound. Pack up snacks with select Cheetos or Fritos for $1.88 each. Limit 4. And 32-ounce Powerade or Powerade Zeros are 67 cents each. 8:34 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Each year, the month of March is all about the madness.
He's a whack job. He's a wacko.
This year, as the number of candidates dwindles and the delegate count climbs, the remaining candidates will meet for one final debate. On March 10th, and AM 560 is hosting the final debate watch party of the primary season. On Thursday, March 10th at Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville. Tickets are just $25 and include an all-you-can-eat buffet. Visit 560theanswer.com/March. That's 560theanswer.com/March. Sponsored in part by DS Arms.
Remodel your kitchen or bath with Galaxy and get free installation, free design, and free financing. Call Galaxy at 773-783-8300 or schedule online at galaxyhome.com.
Ah, yes, the good old 9 to 5. Good stuff, huh? You can almost feel the life force getting sucked right out of you. You've always wanted to be your own boss and take control of your financial future. It's about time you contacted the franchise professional who can guide you to success. Franchising guru Meg Schmitz is your key. She's been a franchise insider for over 25 years and has started and run top-tier businesses of all kinds. She can match you with the franchise opportunity that fits your goals the best. Why would you leave that choice up to the internet? Safe to say that Mr. and Mrs. Google probably won't get to know you the way Meg will. Make an educated decision about buying a gold standard franchise that fits you like a glove. Call Meg Schmitz for your free guide to business ownership at 847-302-2601 or visit goldstandardfranchise.com for more information. Take control of your financial future and be your own franchise boss now. 847-302-2601 or goldstandardfranchise.com.
8:36 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, traffic is stop and go from Nagel to the Burns Circle. It's 1 hour from O'Hare to downtown, 37 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Outbound 31 minutes from downtown to O'Hare. On Eden's 23 minutes, Lake Coast to Montrose, outbound 31. The Eisenhower's jammed. North Avenue most of the way to Sacramento. An hour and 35 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. An hour 18 from Manheim. Outbound 34 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson jammed from before 355 to 83 with a crash in the two right lanes. The usual delays between Harlem and Lakeshore Drive. It's an hour and 22 minutes, 355 to the drive. 46 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound fine. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State stop and go Archer to 31st, and from the Eisenhower to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway tied up Barrington Road to 53. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. AirComfort.com, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Partly sunny throughout the day, but bitterly cold, a high of 18. Currently 10 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Live with Andrew Holmes. Get honest answers to your questions every Sunday at 12 noon.
Hey, Joe Walsh here, New Hampshire, the results are in. We'll talk about the winners and the losers tonight when Freedom returns at 5.
Dan and Amy, I love Goldie Hawn as Private Benjamin as much as the next guy, but the question, and this came up in the debate, the Republican debate on Saturday night, should women be allowed in combat roles in the military? This is a recent decision. Ash Carter, Secretary of Defense, ordered all combat positions open to women. The question is, did he do so just to appease the social justice warriors who run the Obama administration and the Obama administration's Pentagon? Or is there a legitimate military readiness purpose to doing so? Should this be the policy or should it not? You had different people take different positions. Essentially, you know, the cop-out position is, well, if they can do the same job that a man in a combat position can do, then what's the problem? And there's a video that's circulating.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's circulating, and it's raising this issue. More specifically, the scene is, it's taken at an unidentified Army base. The scene is a 12-mile hike where soldiers are required to carry a 35-pound load. It's the minimum standard. No one carries more than they have to. The march has to be completed within 3 hours. Those are the standards. There's a woman, female soldier, doing this. At the end of the 12-mile march, she's like on the ground, on her knees, in the fetal position. She's, exhausted. Yeah. And there's a couple of problems with this. One is, at the end of the 12-mile march, you're not supposed to be in the fetal position and twitching uncontrollably as she was. You're supposed to be able to enter combat from the march. In other words, the 12-mile forced march is not a ceiling to be sought. It's the floor of expectations. And then you can compare the men in the unit, and they're crossing the finish line of the march. Also, the infantry unit in question here, in an actual combat situation, not going to be carrying 35 pounds of equipment, more like 60 to 120 pounds of gear in the field, depending on the particular job. And, we know from science, men and women are different. So we note that there are men and women compete differently in, say, the Olympics, even, world-class athletes of both genders.
We have Title IX, yes. I mean, women's sports are separate than men's sports.
Well, and there's physiological reasons. One article, scientific article that's referenced in this piece suggests, and these are, just scientists in the research on male and female physiology. If you pry Joe Schlub off the sofa and rip the Xbox controller from his hand, then stand him side by side with a female athlete of the same height and weight, she will have at most 66% of his lean muscle mass. Men and women are different. Physically, men and women are different. And so the question is, the idea that we can set a standard and that a politically correct military will abide the standard, women who can finish that march in the same condition and the same battle readiness as a man, and not make exceptions for the purpose of the larger social engineering agenda of those who are pushing social engineering agendas, even in the military. Do you believe that you can have this level playing field, these equal standards, and have those equal standards enforced, or will political correctness ultimately insinuate itself such that you're going to have combat personnel that are not ready, that are not up to snuff with their soldiers in arms, brothers in arms, and that are going to end up costing people their lives?
When it comes to matters of national security, and I'm the biggest feminist that I know, if they can't perform the job physically, or if they're not there mentally, then they shouldn't have that position. But keep in mind, Dan, nearly 200 women have died in Iraq and Afghanistan, and most of them have been in transportation companies.
Right.
Where, they hit a landmine. So it's not as if women aren't sacrificing their lives
No,
for the
of
freedoms
course.
of others, because
Of
they are
course.
doing so, and they
Of
should be
course.
given every ample opportunity to try and compete with the men, to be in combat positions. But if they can't make it physically, then they shouldn't be there. And women know, we know that if we're captured, we know that we could be raped. We understand that we're made differently than men. But that's if they're willing to sacrifice their own lives for the freedoms of others, then we should let them have that chance.
This is a very limited conversation. There's no question that women, from time immemorial, have served this country patriotically and heroically. Nobody's questioning that. This is strictly related to combat roles and whether you think a military that we've talked about that is beset by political correctness, particularly in this administration, but generally, probably extend beyond the Obama administration, can get outside of the social engineering gender politics of introducing women into combat roles and maintain the gender neutral standard. That's the question.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro Antoline. I just wanted, on an ancillary note, just tell you, I went on an Honor Flight Chicago trip a few years ago, and there was 6 women who had served in World War II. Most of them were nurses, but one said, you know what I did one time? We were in France, and there was a dead soldier. I took his uniform, I cut my hair, and I went into combat, and I fought.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Well,
So, and I saved a few lives. I never talked about it. And they have a beautiful in Washington, D.C. memorial for women who fought in World War II.
Yeah, great. Absolutely.
And I thought, you know what? Good.
Fantastic.
She's like, I didn't care. I just dressed like a boy and got in there dressed like a man.
Let me put an exclamation point though on the political correctness concern.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know this was the policy for the U.S. Selective Service? Individuals who are born female and have a gender change are not required to register. U.S. citizens or immigrants who are born male and have a gender change are still required to register for the Selective Service. So just to understand this is from a Mark Stein piece. If you're female to male transgender, you don't have to sign up for Selective Service. But if you're a male to female transgender, you do. As Mark Stein puts, and only the way Mark Stein, Mark Stein puts this in only the way he can, tranny, get your gun. Where is the Republican panderer who's willing to take a stand against the appallingly selective transphobia of the Selective Service? This is the rabbit hole that we have gone down. Kevin in Skokie, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I served with 3rd Battalion, 11th Marines Artillery. And in the 1990s in 29 Palms, California, the DOD sent down a group of women from all branches of the service, so they were already enlisted, and to participate in a day on a artillery shoot with us. Not only could they not do it, many complained quite openly, saying, who the hell would want to do this job? So in my experience, out of the 3 combat arms options, infantry, tanks, and artillery, I don't think they can do infantry, and I know for a fact they can't do artillery, maybe tanks. Just too heavy, too hard.
Thanks for the call, Kevin.
Thanks.
Mike,
Thanks for your service.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Mike on the southwest side.
Right. It's the same thing. You have the 3 branches, and the Marine Corps is the only one that had the cojones to say that they can't do the job. But the same thing in the Army. I was in tanks, and physically, very few women could do the job. It's requiring a lot of lifting, a lot of heavy parts and equipment. The other thing is privacy. Unless we're going to have unisex washrooms, there's no privacy. You got 4 people on a tank crew or 10 people in an infantry squad. Then you've got an artillery piece of gun. You just don't have that mix in there.
But Mike,
and you're going to have.
Mike, let me ask you a question. You said very few women could do the jobs that as part of a tank unit, and so were there women though that could do the job and were held to the same standard as the men?
Well, you mentioned transportation, military, police, but even that, it's like women in the police department or the fire department. There are ones that can do it. Primarily, though, you get into paramedics or you get into something like youth division. But with the Army and the Marine Corps, you've got a different standard, a higher standard. And going back to what you were saying about the woman that was wearing the 35-pound pack, usually you're talking 70. I had to go visit a buddy of mine in another unit. He was an infantryman. And I put on his rucksack, and it was about 90 pounds. I could barely get the thing on. And you're going to be going through different physical extremes, and you just can't cut it. And going back to what Amy was saying, too, in the first Iraq War, my understanding is all 3 women that were taken as prisoners were all violated.
Yeah.
So that's another problem. Of course, as a soldier or as a Marine, you understand that there's going to be things that are going to happen you have no control of, but still, that's in the back of a lot of people's mind, having women in combat.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Appreciate it. Let's go to George in Homer Glen. Hey, George.
Good morning. This is Jerry. God bless America and God bless our troops. My daughter is a Marine Corps officer, graduated from Annapolis. Was recommended by Judy Biggert because Mr. Obama, junior senator elected at that time, needed to see a picture of her before he would recommend her for duty for Annapolis or not. She graduated first in her class when she went to Camp Lejeune, beating all the men in her unit. So women can do the job. She's very upset because they're dumbing down the rules for the girls, giving them lighter backpacks, not having to run as far. It's terrible that women should be allowed in any position as long as they can do the same job as a man.
Yeah.
Not dumb down the rules.
Yeah, don't
Thanks for
bend
the call,
rules.
George.
Thank you so much, George. That was a great point. Great story.
Well, right. And so the interesting thing is, so for the few women that can actually do it, they also are upset. His daughter, a Marine, upset because
It's degrading. It's embarrassing.
Well, it's more than that. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
And that's what she recognizes. That's George or Jerry. I didn't remember his name, but his daughter was the Marine. Travis in Chicago.
Yeah, good morning. I just want to say that the purpose of the military isn't to be a social engineering project. It's to kill the enemies of the United States and the United States taxpayers. Now, with that being said, I'm still active duty. I've got friends in the Army that are instructors at the Ranger School. And when the 2 females went through, one thing I was told that the instructors had a lot of eyes on them, from high-ranking military officials to politicians. So even though they may be trying to administer the same standard across the board, they're feeling pressure to not look like they're being hard on the women. So what ends up happening is the standard across the board gets lowered, and you have less qualified people making it through these pipelines, which puts everybody else in more in harm's way than they should be. It lowers the standard across the board. Maybe not on purpose, maybe not purposely, but in reality is what tends to happen.
Thanks for the call, Travis. Vashti in Oak Park.
Yeah, I just think that this is another example of diversity madness. This idea that we would dumb down our military standards in order to achieve diversity and affirmative action goals. This is like what we see in Germany now, where the feminists and the diversity people who said, diversity, now are apologizing to the Cologne rapists rather than calling it for what it is. And it's the same thing for us. If we, with women in combat, it's the same idea. We will be dumbing down our standards, and our men will be in a position where they were going to be demoralized with these women. So, no, I do not think women ought to be in combat, but I think it's a foregone conclusion that they will be because we have gone this far with this lunacy of diversity, and it's just a tragedy for this country.
Thank you for the call.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine and cold to go with it. 11 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high of 18 degrees. Travel times, let's get the latest from Jim Telemonte.
Thank you, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. The inbound Eisenhower still brutal. An hour and 35 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. An hour 18 from Manheim. Outbound, just a 5-minute delay from Cicero to Des Plaines Avenue. Edens is 23 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 31. The Kennedy, 1 hour from O'Hare to downtown, outbound 31 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 22 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. There's a crash at 83 in the two right lanes, which is 40 minutes from the Tri-State to the drive. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive, slow southbound Wilson to Fullerton, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound, slow 75th to the Mile-Long Bridge with a crash on the left shoulder. Northbound at Stop and Go Archer to 31st, and from the Eisenhower to North Avenue, Adams Tollway still jammed, Barrington Road to 53. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Hey guys, Valentine's Day is here and your sweetheart already loves you, so don't mess this up. Send a sampler pack from Vermont Brownie Company and be a Valentine's Day hero. Here's what you do. Go to VermontBrownie.com right now, unless you're driving. So stop and then go to VermontBrownie.com. Order a Valentine's Day sampler, complete with a free personalized gift card and 6 more brownies for 50% off. It doesn't get any easier than this, but you have to order today because time is running out. No need to ditch the flowers. Just get brownies as well, and your Valentine will be bragging to her friends for days. Yes, that's what women do. So this is a sure thing, guaranteed to make love delicious. Keep things interesting this Valentine's Day. Go to VermontBrownie.com for your 50% savings. Delivery is guaranteed, but hurry, this offer ends soon.
Somebody else who makes love delicious, Dave Ramsey. If you've listened to Dave Ramsey, his show on AM 560, The Answer, you've heard from trusted financial coach Chris Hogan. Are you afraid you won't have the money you need to retire and will end up working the rest of your life? AM 560, The Answer is giving away 25 free copies of Retire Inspired. It's not an age, it's a financial number. Download the AM 560 mobile app if you haven't already and register by clicking on the icon.
Which of our nation's presidents delivered the shortest inaugural address? The answer after this.
Now, more than ever, choosing a real estate agent to sell your home is one of the most important decisions you can make.
I'm Ed Kasich Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. I know what it takes to sell your home.
The Wall Street Journal ranked Ed at 88th in the entire country for closed listings.
I know that there's no gimmick to selling your home, just a strategic marketing plan and the confidence needed to make your transaction successful.
Chicago Agent Magazine recognized Ed as the #1 rank in Will County.
You can hire anybody to list your house, but you'll need the local market knowledge that I have to sell it.
When Ed saw market trends change, he was ready and promptly received a RE/MAX of Northern Illinois Trendsetter Award.
Sure, it takes awards, but it also takes a lot of effort. So why would you try to sell your home with a we'll sell your house or buy it from you kind of agent? If an agent has to promise to buy your listing, then something's seriously wrong.
Call Ed Kasich Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals, 630-679-5454. That's 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals, RE/MAX Professionals.
At times, our nation's first president was a man of very few words. In his second inaugural address in March of 1793, George Washington read just 135 words. making it the shortest inaugural address in history. On President's Day this year, we remember our nation's first president, George Washington. From RE/MAX Professionals and AM 560, The Answer.
Ladies, are the chemicals in your home's water stripping the life from your hair? Men, do you have that one pesky toilet that always gives you problems? Listen to the Heatwave Plumbing Radio Show this Saturday for answers to all your plumbing questions. Need plumbing help right now? Be the very first person to go to radioplumbingdeals.com, fill out the radio discount request form, click submit, and get $129 worth of service for $39.95. That's radioplumbingdeals.com.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right, I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you needed help refinancing after the Big Corner Bank messed up your loan, even though you've heard thousands of my ads telling you not to waste your time at the Big Corner Bank, you called me and I helped you. If you would like to talk to me about a mortgage, please give me a call at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Email me at david@pearldavid.com. That's david@PERLDavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA and MLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com. Licensing.
If your company needs custom metal fabrication products, then you should know AM 560 Feed the Children business benefactor Lockport Steel Fabricators. For over 7 decades, from the smallest project to major commercial construction, Lockport Steel's family of companies has excelled at manufacturing a diverse product mix, including structural steel, miscellaneous metals, aluminum extrusions, and more. Imagine the peace of mind knowing you're working with a national company that's AISC certified right here in Chicagoland. Customers know Lockport Steel focuses on getting your job done right, on time, and to exact needs and specs. Immediate turnaround service is also available. Discover why all types of major industries, including oil and gas, power generation, telecommunications, store fixtures, and commercial construction companies, trust Lockport Steel to make it happen for them. Visit lockportsteel.com or call Greg Radecki today at 815-927-4401 for a no obligation quote and consultation. Lockport Steel Fabricators, making it happen. That's lockportsteel.com.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. I occasionally take new customer calls, and often people tell me that they have been hearing our advertisements for years. What are you waiting for? Start now and begin experiencing the benefits of Balance of Nature in your life.
With the fruities and veggies, for sure, it's my go-to for my kids. That's my mommy's security.
I don't usually eat fruits and veggies, so taking a supplement usually helps, and I can tell the difference. So, well, I just sort of like in my fingernails, toenails, things like that. They've cleared up. They were kind of brittle and breaking, and now they don't do that anymore.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Here are the stories we're watching today in our AM 560 newsroom. Arlington Heights police are searching for a missing father. A synagogue vandal has been ruled insane. And the Hawks fall to San Jose last night. Partly sunny, but
has to punch, and then she slides them through. And
She just needs to learn the DOS operating system, and she can get going.
Basic, basic,
Right.
They asked if I want a Microsoft Word with them. Like, sure. Is it free?
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
I'm going to be calling David.
What is this Microsoft Word you speak of?
My son looked at me and said, Mom, this computer is older than me.
Do I need a keyboard for this?
The keyboard's so